There we go. Okay, cool. All right, now let's get into it. So my name is Farzan Parupia. For those of you who don't know me, I am involved in online business and e-commerce and Amazon, and I was able to grow my business very fast. Within about 5 or 6 months, we got our business to 50K a month in revenue. This was late 2014. After I had begun in August, by January, we were at the 50K a month mark in revenue. That was in part due to the holidays, but again, it was a very accelerated growth. And honestly, anyone who is watching right now, anyone who learns this kind of strategy, it's not very difficult. It's not very complicated. It's actually very straightforward and simple. It just requires you to really do the work and take the action and do it on time, and as quickly as possible and as consistently and efficiently as possible, so that you can achieve similar results. And not only have I done this myself, literally hundreds to thousands of other people have followed this exact strategy that I'm about to show you. And I take a bit of a different approach. Sometimes people will miss certain things, or for example, even before I get into the actual strategy, I'm going to be presenting a lot of other things that I believe are prerequisites to the actual strategy. Okay, and you'll kind of figure out what I mean by that as we get into this presentation. So, like I said, the secret strategy to get from 0 to 10K a month in sales on Amazon ridiculously fast. We're about to cover that. Before we get into that, I want to first say thank you so much for taking out the time to attend this live training. I do this at the beginning of every webinar just because I really do appreciate you being here, so that I, first of all, I'm not talking to myself, because that would be really depressing. And secondly, because I know that you guys are busy, you have your own lives, and yet you take out this time, the next hour or so, to attend this and learn and benefit. And of course, you're investing your own time into learning this so that you can be more successful, and take your business to the next level. So in this live training, what are we going to discuss? First of all, I'm going to show you and answer this very common question, because those of you who are attending this live training, I'm sure you have this question if you haven't begun this business. Why in the world would someone buy your product that you're private labeling, that you're creating, that no one has ever heard of before? Why would they buy your product instead of another product that is already established, right? So again, private labeling, you're basically creating a similar product to what's already out there on Amazon, to what's already selling very well, and you're creating your own version of it. You're putting your own brand logo on it, and you're putting it out there to sell. So the question is, well, why would someone buy yours over the other products that are out there on the market? I'm going to answer that. Then I'm going to show you the 0 to 10K secret strategy, and then we're going to do some Q&A. And then I have a special gift for you at the end of this training, so stay tuned for that. I think you'll love it. So the first question, the first kind of point that we'll cover in this live training: why would someone buy my product over the many other products on the market? What do you think? All right, I want to get some engagement going here. I want to see what you guys think on why in the world would someone buy your product, that like you just came up with this new brand, and like why would someone do that? Can someone tell me? Come on, guys. Reviews, okay, that's a good one. You can market it better. Okay, awesome. Looks attractive, pictures. Yes. You would optimize your listing. Okay. Better pricing. Okay, potentially. We'll talk about that. Some differentiation, make it stand out. It's already something that's selling well. That's true, but why would someone go for years? Why would they even consider years if there are so many other products on the market? Listing optimization, yes, based on BSR, potentially, but I don't think customers really see BSR, do they? Or they don't really like. Most customers don't even know what BSR is. They just go by what listings show up when they search, right? They think you're a brand already. Okay, maybe. Maybe if your item is better listed, yes. So, okay, so good quality. If it comes on their first page, absolutely. The review is better than others, and marketing is key. Yes. Okay, so pretty much all those answers are altogether correct. Some people answered, kind of different parts of it and different aspects of it, but altogether, pretty much that is the correct answer. All right, and we're gonna get into this, and pretty much everything you guys mentioned right now, I'm gonna go over in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So Basically, there are two primary reasons why someone would even consider buying your product over someone else's. Number one, your product is better, okay? And number two, your product offers more value. Okay, now we're going to get into what each of these things mean in detail. So number one, your product is better. Number one, your product offers more value. So your product is better. What does that mean? That means that your product is better quality, potentially. It could mean that your product has more features. It could also mean that your product simply looks better, which is marketing. And we're going to discuss the final point a little bit more in detail in just a minute. Okay, so these are the basically three ways that your product could be better, whether it's in the quality, whether it's in additional features or more features than what your competitors are offering, or it simply looks better, and that is pretty much all involved in marketing and promotion. And we'll take a look at that in just a sec. What's the best way to make sure your product is better than your competitors, right? We talked about that your product needs to be better. Well, what's the best way, the best method that we can use to ensure that our product is better than our competitors? Well, I think that you need to go to the listings of your competitors, specifically the top 5 to 7 products in your market. Okay, so the top 5 to 7 best selling products in your market, go to those listings and look at all the 1 and 2 star reviews. Okay, so assuming that you haven't started yet, you haven't really decided on a product, or you're kind of going, you're going to start marketing your product, then you want to do this with your competitors, and you need to know very, very well what customers who have already bought your competitors products are saying about their products, right? What do they not like? And when you figure that out, when you look at all the 1 and 2 star reviews of the top products in the market, make sure that your product does not have any one of those defects and doesn't have any one of those problems. Okay? And you want to make sure and make that clear with your supplier, right? You want to, because obviously they're the ones that are manufacturing and producing your products. And even if it does cost you a few more cents per unit to actually make those changes, right? For example, if you have like a cloth product or a product that can rip potentially, and you see that even though that they're the top 5 to 7 products, they still have these problems for the most part, or there's a very common problem across all of these products in the market, then you want to make sure that your supplier knows. You tell your supplier, hey, all these products have this problem. I want you to tell me how I can make sure that my product doesn't have this problem. Can we potentially increase the quality of the material? Can we add like a second layer to make it more sturdy? Can we even change up the actual material to something else that doesn't rip as easily, right? Something that you need to talk to your supplier and make sure that your product doesn't have that problem, so that you can highlight that as a competitive advantage over your competitors on your listing, which we'll talk about in a sec as well. So the first one, like I mentioned, the first reason why someone would consider your product over others is because it's better. And we kind of touched on those different points on what it means to be better than other competitors' products. Number two, your product offers more value. Okay, now what is value? What does value mean? It's basically what the customer gets in exchange for their money, right? The more a customer gets for their money, the higher the perceived value. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And the word perceived value is extremely important, right? Perceived value is basically the value that the customer perceives, like how, like, what do they consider, how valuable do they consider that deal or that offer or that product that you're giving them, that you're offering them and putting in front of them. Okay, so the more that a customer gets for their money, right? If a customer has $15 to buy a product and they see 5 different products in front of them, right? There is a different perceived value for each one of these products based on what they see. And as a marketer, as a seller of the product, you have the opportunity to increase and make it higher, that perceived value that they have. And we're going to talk about how we can do that in the next few minutes. So one of the ways to increase the perceived value of your product is to give something extra with your product. And that's one of the answers that some of you gave when I asked the question initially at the beginning of this training, is to give something extra with your product. Now this can be something physical or digital. So if it's digital, it can be something like an ebook. Okay, and it has to be an ebook that is relevant. It has to be a resource that's relevant to the product, and it has to complement the product. So just to give you an example, if you're selling like silicone baking mats, right? it would make sense to give a baking recipe ebook to that customer once they purchase your product, right? It wouldn't make sense to give them something about fitness or something about, how to, fix their phone if it falls in water. Like that wouldn't make any sense. The ebook has to be relevant and has to complement the product that you're giving them. Okay. So that's one way, is to give them something digital. And the most popular digital offering that you can give them for free along with the product is an ebook. Number two is a small accessory. Okay, so now this is more of a physical product or a physical offering. And this small accessory, same as the digital product or the ebook, has to complement the product very well. Okay, and that small accessory costs you, and same with the ebook, but both of these things cost you only a few cents per unit to add, but it increases the perceived value to the customer, to the potential customer, by a couple of dollars. All right, and I'm going to show you exactly how that happens. I'm going to present a couple of case studies and examples to you to show you how the perceived value increases when you offer something extra like an ebook or a small accessory. Okay, and so a small accessory may cost you, let's say, 10 cents a unit or 15 cents a unit, but in the eyes of the customer, it is potentially increasing that value of the product or of the offering by $1 or $2. Same with the ebook, right? An ebook you may pay, let's say, up to $50 to have one created using Fiverr.com. Okay, but when you spread that $50 across 500 units, right? You're spending, that's only 10 cents per unit. Okay, so it's not going to cost you a lot, but it really could make a difference when people are considering your product against others. So now here's a very um, I'm going to show you two examples specifically to show you how someone or why someone would look at your product that's not established and look at someone else's that is established, and even then consider yours over the other. So here we see a baby food freezer storage tray. Okay, so this is a product that's pretty hot on Amazon now. Many sellers and a lot of demand for this product and in this market. So as you can see, this is a pretty established brand. It has 750 reviews or 749 reviews, many answered questions, meaning that it's probably been there for a while, and their price point is 25.49. Okay, so no, this is, when you look at this market, this is the top seller. This is the number one seller. This is going to be your biggest competitor if you decide to go with this product yourself. All right, so keep that in mind. Now look at this product. Okay, I want you to notice a couple of differences between these two products. First of all, look at the number of reviews that this first one has, 749. Clearly a lot more, significantly more social proof than the second one, which has only 62 reviews. Similarly with the answered questions, the engagement on the listing is 28 answered questions. Right? Customers can ask as many questions as they want about a product if they need additional information. So there's 28, which means that a lot of people have engaged with this. A lot of people have considered buying it. Whereas this one only has 3 answered questions. Okay. And then the price point, the second one is similar to the first one. They're only about $2 or $3 apart. But now look at the difference in the way these two listings look. First of all, look at the images of this one. They look very bland, not very bright, not very colorful, right? Look at the title of this one. How much does it actually explain or give about the product, right? It's a solid starter kit, baby food freezer storage trays, right? That's not a very attractive or compelling description to kind of sell you the product, right? Because they're already so established, and they've already gotten so many customers, and they have so much traction on their product and on their listing, that a lot of these sellers who are at the top of their markets, they don't put too much attention on their listings. They don't put too much attention on optimizing their listings, which I'll explain in just a second. Whereas this listing is considered optimized. Look at the title. Right on the top, you can't see the title fully, so I've expanded it. On the bottom, you can see. And so you can see that it tells you best homemade baby food storage freezer trays, reusable silicone. It comes with a lid as well. It's a 2-pack bundle. It has 2 bonus spoons, right? We talked about this. And then it also gives some BPA free, FDA approved, all that kind of extra stuff to describe the product and to show that it's a very high quality product and offering. Right now, look at the fact that it's offering 2 spoons or something extra along with the product itself. So not only does the listing itself look better and do a better job of describing itself, but you're also, in addition to the product itself, the two pack, right? This is also a two pack. You're getting two additional spoons with the product. Okay, so now if I was to ask you that a typical customer, or even yourself, or even myself, if I was to consider these two products and I was interested in buying this product, which of these would I more likely buy? And any customer, which of these would they more likely buy? Most likely the second one. You know why? Because they're getting more value out of the second one. The perceived value for the potential customer is much greater in the second product. Not only because it looks better, it's brighter, it's nicer looking, but also because you get two extra spoons, right? The person that's about to buy or considering a couple of different options, including this one, will say, okay, well, either I could buy this one for 25.49, right, where I get two things, and it's a nice product. There's a lot of reviews. People have said it's a really good product. Or I could go with this one. Not only will I save almost $3, but I will also get something extra, right? So the customer will automatically think that this is a better deal because of the fact that it's not only less, they'll have to pay less, but they also get more and extra out of it. Okay. Now the second example I want to give is it's a very similar example where you have a salt and pepper grinder set. This is a stainless steel set by OXO. OXO is a major kitchen and dining company. They are partners, or they are actually even, I think, owned by Amazon. And in any kitchen and dining kind of market or category, you will find OXO more than likely. And so they're a very established brand. As you can see, they have over 1,700 reviews. They have 58 answered questions on this listing for this product. The price point is $49.95. Okay. And now I want to compare that product, or this product, to the next two products that are in the same market. This is also a salt and pepper grinder set, but I want you to see the difference between this one and this one. Okay, look at the difference in price points. Look at the difference in the quality of the images. Look at the fact that this one is providing a free ebook, Spicecraft's Gourmet Salt and Pepper Guide, whereas this one doesn't come with anything extra, right? Look at the difference in the title. This one doesn't do anything with regards to trying to sell it, because OXO is an established brand and they have so many products, they're probably spread too thin to even focus too much or enough on one specific listing like this one. Whereas this one, it's a private labeled product. I can almost guarantee you that. They have fewer reviews, fewer engagement, right? But the fact that they're providing something extra with the product, they are a comparable product in terms of quality because they have the reviews and the social proof to show that they're a high quality and trusted kind of product now. They've established themselves, and also they're like one third of the cost, right? Or even more than, like, less than one third. So you're only going to pay 13 for this product, or you're going to pay 50 for this product, right? And so definitely a lot of people will consider this product. And that's how these products that are private labeled gain so much traction, because a lot of people will, a lot of times people say, well, people buy based on price. And I say, no, actually they buy based on value, right? Because if you say only based on price, then they're going to go for, like, the $3, like, cheap trash product. But that's not what people do. They go for what is valuable. They go for a product that is good enough in quality to what they're looking for, while at the same time looking for a good deal in terms of the price. Okay, so it's not competing on price, but you're competing on value. That's a better way to think about it. And similarly with the second product that's also in the same market, you can see that they're also providing an ebook, a free ebook. And similarly to the other product we just looked at, their price point is much lower. Their title is awesome. Their images are great, and they're providing something extra. And they've also established themselves in the market with hundreds of reviews as well. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense on how to answer the question of, well, why would someone buy my product instead of an established, well-known kind of brand or product. And so the first example that we looked at, it wasn't a major brand, right? The baby freezer food trays, it wasn't a major brand that we looked at, but it was an established brand in that market. Whereas the second example, OXO, is actually a very well-known brand. You'll even find it in, like, retail stores. Even in that case, though, it's possible for you to penetrate the market and actually grab market share from even such a major player like OXO, using some of these tactics that I showed you. And we're about to get into more of these in detail in just a sec. So now let's get back to how to make your product simply look better, right? As I mentioned, it's all about marketing. In parentheses, I had put marketing. So let's take a look at how we can do that, how we can better market our product to stand out from competitors so that potential customers will want to buy our product instead of others. Number one is keyword research. Number two, images. Number three, title. Number four, bullets. Number five, description. Okay, so all of these things, and then number six, price. All right, so all of these things you can play with, and you have full authority over on your product listing to either make or break your product, right? To compete with your competition. This is what customers, your potential customers, see in front of them. So it's your responsibility to make these things look as amazing as possible so that people will consider your product instead of others. So let's go through some of these, aspects of a product listing, right? All of these things are part of every product listing. And how do you make each of these look better? I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how you can do that. So when you strategically and tactically put together your product listing, we call it optimized. Okay, a couple of you had mentioned this term optimized when I had asked the question, why do you think people would buy yours instead of other products? And some of you said, well, if your product listing is optimized, and that's exactly what we're about to look at is how do you optimize your product listing. I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks. So optimizing your product listing will not only make it look better to potential customers, it will also make it perform better on the back end with regards to Amazon and its rankings, which is very important, right? It's not only that it looks great to the customer that's looking at it from the front end, but even on the back end, Amazon will actually help it rank better if you do certain things, if you make it in a certain way. So now I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to optimize certain aspects of your product listing. So number one, well, before I do that, realize that we haven't even touched the main topic of today's webinar, right, of today's training, which is how to get from 0 to 10K in sales on Amazon ridiculously fast. And we're about to get to that, okay? But why have I not gotten there? I haven't even started that strategy yet because for that 0 to 10K strategy to be most effective and to work as it should, your product and your product listing need to be amazing. Okay? And that's sometimes what a lot of people miss is they don't focus enough on the product listing and making it look as amazing as possible to have a competitive advantage, right? All of the things that we're going through right now and discussing right now, a lot of people miss that and say, okay, well, let me just implement the strategy. Let me just do this, but your product listing sucks. Your product listing looks horrible, right? It doesn't look any better than the competitors. In some cases, it even looks worse. And so if you implement this strategy that we're going to go through in just a few minutes, it's not going to be effective because your product listing isn't the prerequisite to the strategy you didn't even do properly, right? So you have to make sure that that's there, and that's why this is so important. And a lot of people unfortunately overlook it, and I want to make sure that you guys, you all that are watching and listening right now, do not overlook this extremely important part. I think that the prerequisite itself is as important as the strategy itself. So let's look at some tips and tricks on how you can optimize your product listing before we get into the 0 to 10K strategy. All right, so number one, the first aspect of the product listing that we'll take a look at is images. And again, I'm just going to mention a few tips and tricks on each one of these, and then we'll get into the strategy. Number one, for images, it should be at least 1,000 by 1,000 pixels to enable the auto zoom function on the images on the listing. So you'll notice that for any product listing, when you go onto the images of that product, more than often, what you'll notice is that the images zoom in automatically when you hover over them with your mouse. Right? When you hover over them, it automatically zooms in, and that means that that image is high enough quality, meaning at least 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, for it to enable auto zoom. Automatically, Amazon will zoom into that image, and that is extremely important and essential for your images because for the customer wants to see the product up close. They want to see the quality of the product that they're going to buy up close. Okay, and so to be able to do that, you want to make sure that they can auto zoom, that Amazon will auto zoom when they take a look at it. Number two, use unique and different kinds of images. So I'm going to list out a few different types of images that many listings don't have or don't consider. And it's important that you have these so that you can stand out from your competitors. Number one is product close up. Okay, so that's the front, back, and side angles of the product itself. And then the second type of image is product packaging close up. And that includes the front, the back, and the side angles of the product packaging. Now, one important point that I want to make here is that one of the best ways, in my opinion, and if you're taking notes, you should definitely write this down. If you're One of the best ways to make your product stand out and your listing stand out when you are, when you're selling on Amazon is to make your product packaging your main image. Okay. So each part of a product listing has a very specific purpose. Okay. Just like in marketing, every single like piece of marketing has its own purpose. Just to give you a simple example, the subject header or the subject line of an email, right? When you send an email out, a marketing email out, the purpose of the subject is what? Is to make the person, the recipient of the email, open the email. That's it, right? It doesn't have any other purpose. It doesn't have, sometimes people think, well, the subject has to make, has to kind of provide some information about what the email is about. No, that's wrong. The purpose of the subject is to make the person open the email. It doesn't matter what you have to do to make them open it. You could put the weirdest, craziest status ever. If it makes them open the email, it's effective. Similarly, with the main image on for an Amazon listing, the main purpose is to get the click. Because what's the image that a potential customer or a person who's searching on Amazon sees when they are searching on Amazon? They see your main image. They see your first image. So, and the purpose of that image is to stand out from the competitors and grab the click of that person so that they come to your product listing instead of someone else's. So, you have to make that first image especially stand out as much as possible. Okay. So, the one way to do that, and one of the most effective ways that I've seen to do that, is to put the product packaging as your first image, as your main image, instead of just the product. Because most people, what they do, most sellers, they make the product itself just a very normal, average, original looking product image, from the front as their main image, and it doesn't like stand out at all. And so most markets, when you search for a product or a keyword, you'll notice that they pretty much look all the same, right? But the thing is that if you want to stand out and you want to like really catch the eye of the potential customer, the person who's searching, you want to make it stand out, you want to make it different. And that's what I've done with almost every one of my products, and it's been very successful, that strategy. And I advise you to do the same. So that also means that when you're working with your supplier to design your packaging, and I think that you should try to focus on your packaging and make it as nice as possible so that you can highlight it as your main image on your listing. All right, so the third type of image that a lot of people don't use, that you need to use, is product in use. And a lot of times people will also, even if they do use this type of image, the product in use, they only put it being used by either a man or a woman. They don't do both. Okay, but it's important. You can put both a man and a woman using it in the same image. You can just put like a barrier in between, like in the middle of the image, and on one half you have the guy using it, on one half you have the girl using it, right? And it kind of applies to both genders, so it doesn't seem like you're only marketing your product to one gender. And that's very important because that will affect your conversions as well. So, product in use is extremely important. It really makes the customer kind of think about and realize what it will feel like, what will the experience be like if they're going to use the product themselves. They can see images of that. That helps a lot. Number four is comparison chart. So when you have different aspects of your product that you want to highlight, that you want to show that you're better than your competitors in, one of the best ways to do that is to have a very simple comparison chart designed. Okay, so you can put as many different things as you want on there, different benefits and features of your product, and you have, let's say, four columns. The first column is your product, right? So all the rows are basically different benefits and features, and then on the columns you have your product, column one, and then you have two or three random products. Call them brand A, brand B, brand C for whatever product you're doing. And obviously, your product in all the rows will have a check mark next to every benefit and feature, whereas your competitors will have X's and checks kind of mixed, right? To kind of show the potential customer that, hey, my product in every one of these categories, meets the benefit or feature. It has this thing, whereas my competitors don't. And you don't have to mention any specific competitors. You just put brand A, brand B, brand C, and it works really well. All right, and then images, number five, you have before and after. One mistake that a lot of people make with this one is that they only do this, or they only think that they can do this for beauty products, right? So you have like creams, you have different other beauty products for skin, for your face, for your feet, for different parts of your body. And people think that those are the only types of products that you can do before and after images for, and that's not, completely correct, because even for a simple product, for example, like a lemon squeezer, right? And that's a very hot product on Amazon. So you go, what I would do in the case to actually implement the before and after picture for a product like a lemon squeezer, I would have the first part of the image, like half of the image having, let's say, a person using a lemon squeezer and they're having a lot of trouble with it. Either the lemon squeezer is not strong enough, the amount of lemonade or the juice that they got out of that lemon wasn't enough, it was messy, it was rusty, right? You would have kind of all of the negatives of normal lemon squeezers showing up in that before picture, and then in the after picture you would have that same person using your lemon squeezer, and everything is all good, everything is perfect, right? There's no rust. You're getting amazing amounts of juice out of the lemon. It's clean. It's easy to wash. All that stuff that you want to highlight, you have that in a before and after picture. So hopefully that makes sense on how you can do that with almost literally any type of product. All right, and then your free slash extra bonus offer. So if you're putting a free ebook, a free accessory, you want to also highlight that in an image so people know that they're getting more value and extra stuff, in addition to your actual product. And then the final thing in an image that I recommend that you should have is guarantee or warranty badge. So if you have, a lifetime guarantee, which is what I recommend, right? Sometimes people will do 1 year warranties or guarantees or 30-day. Go with the lifetime because that's the most common, and most people, like most companies and sellers on Amazon, do that. So you don't want to shortchange yourself by doing a 30-day. Honestly, like it won't matter whether you do 30-day or lifetime. uh, in the long run, like most people after like a couple of months will not even remember that they bought the product, or they'll forget about it. So you're not going to really give up much if you do a lifetime guarantee or warranty versus, let's say, a 30-day or 60-day warranty. Okay, so you want to just put that as its own image with like a badge, clearly showing that, hey, this is our company's, lifetime warranty, blah blah blah. I can just make that a really nice image on its own. All right, number two, title. So this aspect of the product listing should be less than, but up to 200 characters. So many people make the mistake of putting this super long title because someone gave them some dumb advice about putting as many keywords in their title as possible. But you want to make sure that you want to keep it less than 200 characters because Amazon actually will disregard your title in terms of ranking it search wise, and putting, kind of considering those keywords that you're putting into your title if it's over 200 characters. So you want to make sure it's under that amount, but also up to. And the reason I put but up to is because you don't want to make it too short. You don't want to only use 100 characters. You want to at least get up to close to 200 without going over 200 characters. All right. And you want to begin with your main keyword or your main keyword phrase. So, for example, for a lemon squeezer, sometimes you'll see people say, if your company name is Kitchen Products, let's just say hypothetical scenario, they'll put Kitchen Products Stainless Steel Lemon Squeezer. That's kind of the starting of their title. You basically just push the main keyword, which is lemon squeezer, all the way to like the sixth or seventh word. And it's actually proven or known that Amazon gives the best juice and the best ranking to the keyword that shows up at the beginning of your title. And that is why that keyword should be your main keyword or your main keyword phrase. So lemon squeezer should go at the front of the title. That should be the first 2 words that show up, lemon squeezer. And then you can put all the other stuff, stainless steel, blah, 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 all that stuff after the main keyword. So you always want to begin with the main keyword, and then within those remaining characters, up to 200 characters, you want to include as many relevant keywords as possible, right? So you can do keyword research by looking at the keywords that your competitors are using. You can use merchant words. You can use other tools out there like Jungle Scout to find out to do some initial keyword research to figure out what are the most relevant keywords for your product. First letter of every word should be capitalized. This keeps the title very clean looking, right? A lot of times people make the mistake of putting like sentences so that only the first word of the sentence is capitalized and then everything else is like, lowercase. That's not good. It doesn't make it look like a title, then it makes it look like a short paragraph, and you don't want that. So you want to make every letter of every word capitalized, even if it's like a minor word like of or is or something. Make it capitalized. It'll look very clean. Avoid using prepositions. So when we use like when we talk normally, I'll say stainless steel lemon squeezer, professional quality or whatever, right? You normally you would say lemon squeezer is professional quality, comes with this that. Like you don't want to use the word is there. You just kind of skip that minor word, that preposition there. You don't want to make it seem like you're writing a sentence or a paragraph. You just want to make it kind of more concise than that. Okay. So avoid using small words like is and of unless it's very necessary to do that. Specifically, is I think is the most common word that you kind of just avoid. Then don't use punctuation. So don't only limited use of commas is kind of I would say even then you should kind of avoid commas, but commas is probably the only kind of punctuation you should use. For the everything else you should avoid completely. So don't use periods, don't use anything else like that. Just use dashes instead. Okay. This goes back to making it look like a title and not a paragraph. So if you want to separate, if I was to put lemon squeezer, professional quality stainless steel, I would probably put a dash after lemon squeezer. So lemon squeezer dash professional quality stainless steel dash, and then keep on going with the title. Okay, so you kind of separate different phrases or different kind of quote unquote sentences, in the title with dashes, and then mention your free/extra bonus in the title. So that's very important that a person sees the fact that you're offering something free or extra with your product in the title. And I didn't put it here on the screen, but before the 113 character mark of your title, you should have the mention of your free or extra bonus there. Because on the search, when people are searching for your product on Amazon, the title cuts off, right? So even though your title may be 200 characters long or 190 characters long, Amazon on the search part will cut it off and only show, let's say, around 110 to around 115 characters, and then it'll cut the rest off. It'll put dot dot dot, and the only way the person can see the rest of the title is if they click the product listing or they click your product. So you want to make sure that your free or extra bonus that you're offering, whether it's an ebook or whether it's a physical product or accessory, is mentioned before the title cuts off, because that will also serve as a competitive advantage and it will make the potential customer click on your listing instead of others, because they're like, oh wait, this person's giving away something extra or bonus or for free. I want to check them out instead of someone who's not offering anything else. Okay, so you want to also that was kind of a small gem there at the end as well with the title. All right, so number 3, bullets. So bullets are basically 5 bullets that you have to fill. When you're looking at an Amazon listing, they're pretty much to the right of your images. Okay, so like right when you get to a listing, you see certain things. So you see the images, you see the title, and almost right under the title, under the price, you'll see these 5 bullets. So you want to fill them all. You want to use them all. You never want to leave any of them blank. You want to begin each one with all caps headline. Okay, so professional stainless steel quality, this lemon squeezer is made from, and then kind of go on from there. Okay, so look at how the first few words of this bullet point I have capitalized, and it almost serves as like a headline that describes what the rest of the bullet point will be about, and then I kind of elaborate on the headline that I put there. Okay, and you want to do that with each one of your bullet points. And just to kind of reiterate, you see how I put this sentence here, begin each one with all caps headline? That's what I meant by don't use sentences in your title. So if I was to do this in proper English, I would say begin each one with an all caps headline, right? I would put an as a preposition or as an article there. And in the title, you would do the exact same thing that I did here in my bullet point. You would not put the word an, right? Or a or whatever. So hopefully that makes sense. I just thought of that right now based on the last slide. All right, so format of the bullets. Number 1, you have again 5 bullets. So I'm going to give you a format that I followed and that you can follow that's pretty effective. In the first bullet, you talk about the problem solution. So you highlight the problem that the person is facing, for which reason they would want to actually buy your product and for which reason they're even looking for your product. So obviously, you know what problem they're facing because they're looking at your product. So you want to make sure that you highlight that and you remind them of that problem that they're facing. But right after that, you want to obviously make sure that you offer a solution and how your product is the product that will solve that problem for them. Then you want to talk about in the second bullet point, how is your product different? So, a lot of times people say, don't trust other sellers. Like, you don't necessarily have to use that type of language, but you want to make sure that you're pretty much highlighting some of your best features or best benefits of your product and how other competitors or other sellers aren't really matching up to your quality or to your product. Number 3, benefits. Number 4, features. So a lot of times people will talk about features and they won't talk about benefits. You always want to do benefits first and then features. Okay, so a feature is something about the product. Okay, a benefit is how that feature benefits, helps the customer, the user. So if I say stainless steel, a professional quality stainless steel, that's a feature of the lemon squeezer. If I say that's not a benefit, that's a feature. A lot of times people confuse that. A benefit is, well, how does that, the fact that it's professional stainless steel quality, help the person? It will never rust. You will never have to, buy another lemon squeezer. It's going to be very easy to wash, no mess. Whatever the case is, right? It's going to bring you the most juice out of every lemon that you squeeze, no waste, right? Those are benefits, right? And based on the feature that I mentioned of professional stainless steel quality. So you want to highlight those benefits first, and then you want to highlight the features. And finally, you want to put a guarantee / call to action. So this is where you mention, hey, take advantage of our lifetime guarantee no matter what, if your product messes up or it's defective or whatever, which it won't be. I always put that in parentheses whenever I put, if your product doesn't work out or you don't like it, which you won't, you'll love it actually, but just in case, right? You can take advantage of our lifetime guarantee. We'll be happy to send you a brand new replacement at no charge or offer you full refund on your purchase. And then you put the call to action, which means you tell them to click the add to cart button, right? And the bullets are so important because if you can get someone from the bullets to click on add to cart to make the decision before even scrolling down, then that's a huge win for you, right? Because even without looking at the reviews, even without looking at the description, they've decided right off the bat just by looking at your images, your title, and your bullets to make that purchase. And that's why you add the call to action here, because if they're ready to purchase, then you want to make sure you tell them exactly what to do, okay? And which is the call to action, which is click add to cart now. So you want to put that in the fifth and final bullet point. Number 4, description. So use as many keywords as possible in your description. Format is basically you want the headline first. So just to cover or go over this, the description is basically when you scroll down on the product listing after the product details, I believe, is when the product description shows up. It's basically a longer format of the bullets. Essentially, it gives you a lot more room to to highlight and to write about your product. So you want to use as many keywords as possible in that description. And then the format you want to use is, first you want the headline, then you want the subheadline. So the headline is something catchy in all caps that you would say to grab the attention of the potential customer. So you would say something like, um, you know, don't you hate wasting lemon, or how do you feel when you waste like 25% of the lemon juice, of the juice in your lemons, right? Something like that that kind of just catches the person, like, oh wait, really, do I waste 25% of the juice, right? And that will make them keep going, that will make them keep reading. And then the subheadline will be kind of a follow-up to the headline. So it's like, yeah, actually most lemon squeezers unfortunately will waste and not extract 25% of the juice in the lemon, right? And so that's kind of the subheadline from the headline. And then the benefits, of course, as I mentioned, you would highlight the benefits, you maybe 3 or 4 benefits here, and then the features, maybe 3 or 4 features. And then you want social proof. So one of the best ways I like to do social proof in the description is to copy paste a review in here, right? So once you actually get some initial reviews, you want to grab some of that and literally quote it here. Here's what some of our customers have said about our product. You put that social proof in there, that credibility in there, and then you have the guarantee to limit the risk of the customer. Again, this is the lifetime guarantee that you offer them. No matter what happens, we got you covered basically. And then the final thing is the call to action, right? So again, this is very similar to the bullets. It's just kind of longer format, and it has a couple additional things like the headline and subheadline, but for the most part, it's the same. So the call to action, like I said, is scroll up and click add to cart now. A lot of times in the call to action, you could even include something extra like don't forget to buy one as a gift. If it's some like holiday time, you want to mention exactly what holiday is. Hey, this would be an amazing Thanksgiving gift. This would be an amazing Christmas gift. If you're buying one for yourself, don't be selfish. Buy another one for your, loved one or for your friends or whatever, right? So you can put that in the call to action as well. That's pretty effective. All right, and then the fifth and final thing we're going to look at is price. There are 3 prices you can set for your product in your Amazon Seller Central account, and most people only use 2. So just by using this small tactic, you can actually, increase your conversions and get buyers on your listing for your product over your competitors. There are 3 prices. One is the MSRP, one is your price, and then one is the sale price. So most people will only use the MSRP and your price, and they won't use the sale price. The sale price is basically the price that you can set if you're ever having a limited sale. For example, if in December for the Christmas holidays or whatever, you're having a sale for like a month long or for like 2 weeks or for even a few days, you can turn this sale price on and implement it so that it shows up on your listing. So what it will do is, instead of crossing out just one price and highlighting your price, right, which is what you'll see on most listings, it'll actually now cross out your MSRP. It'll cross out the second price as well, which is your price, and then it'll show the third price. Okay. So most people only use the first two, but you can use the sale price at any time for as long as you want. So you can literally have it on forever. You can have the sale price on for the entire year. It doesn't make a difference. Okay. So with regards to price, instead of one being crossed out, like I said, instead of just the MSRP being crossed out, you can have two prices crossed out. So the potential customer feels like they're getting two discounts instead of just one, even though your final selling price was going to be the same. Okay. So just to give you an example to elaborate on that, if I was selling my product for $15, let's just say, okay, and my MSRP was like $40, and again, MSRP is it's something that's like random. You can make that number whatever you want, right? So a lot of people will make it like double the price of the actual product, or even a little bit more than that. You don't want to make it something ridiculous like $300. No one's going to believe that your product actually costs, or the value is $300, like for a lemon squeezer. But it's practical to say, hey, this is worth 30, 35, $40, right? And we're discounting it to like 15, $20. So let's say my price was 15, my MSRP is 40. So those are the two prices I'm doing, right? MSRP and your price. Your price right now, or my selling price, is $15. Now, if I wanted to implement this third price, what I would do is the selling price would become my current your price, so it would become 15, and my middle price now, which is your price, would become, let's say, like 25. So now you have a customer looking at your listing, and it says $40 MSRP crossed out, $25 normal price crossed out, and then the third price, sale price, $15. So that automatically makes a customer feel like they're getting an additional discount, even more than normal, even though your price, which is $15 at what you're selling at, that didn't change at all. You're just changing the perception in the customer's mind. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so now before we actually get into this next part, how to get from 0 to 10K in sales on Amazon ridiculously fast, I want to get some feedback from you guys. Make sure you guys aren't asleep before moving on. We're not going to answer any questions, but I just want to see any feedback here. Still here. Brilliant. Okay, awesome. A couple of people said there's problems with the audio. Hopefully there's not. It might be on your side. Very clear and concise, very useful. Okay, excellent. How long left? I don't think it should be more than another 15 to 20 minutes, hopefully. Okay, excellent. All right, let's continue, and we'll do some questions towards the end once we actually get through this strategy. Okay, all right. I should have some water with me when I do these things. Throat dries up. Okay, so how to get from 0 to 10K in sales on Amazon ridiculously fast. So let's jump into this strategy very quickly. So you need to get two things as part of this strategy now. Like I mentioned, the prerequisites to the strategy are just as important as the strategy itself. So pretty much, if you considered this entire presentation as a strategy, we just covered the first half. Now we're getting into the second half. So as part of the second half of the strategy, you need to get two things very, very quickly. Number one, you need to get sales. And number two, you need to get reviews, sales and reviews. So we can get both of these things, both sales and reviews, by doing giveaways. All right. And giveaway, basically what that term means is that we give away our product for free or at a very steep discount in exchange for honest reviews. And I'll elaborate on that in just a sec. But the most important thing from this slide I want you to keep in mind as we move forward is that you need to get these two things, sales and reviews. And the way we do that is by doing giveaways. All right. So there's generally, or even practically, no simpler way to get initial sales that will rank our product than to give your product away. That's the easiest and most practical way to actually go about grabbing and increasing in rank, your product on Amazon, because obviously when you start out, no one has bought your product, no one has reviewed your product, no one has even searched for your product or found your product. You need to find a way for Amazon to boost it up in the ranks, right? In BSR, in search ranking, and the way you do that is by getting initial sales and reviews by doing giveaways. So here's how you should think about it. So I know that sometimes people will say that, well, I just bought 500 units. I just spent like $3,000 on this, and now you want me to give away my products for free or at a steep discount? And the answer is yes, but let me explain why it makes sense and why this should make sense to you. Don't think that you're losing money because you're giving away your product. Okay, don't think about it like that. Rather, you're buying rank on Amazon. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So you're not losing money by giving away your products, right? Even though you're technically losing money when you give away one product, on each one you're losing a bit of money because even the discount that you give may be below your cost price, especially if you include the Amazon fees, right? But the thing is that you're buying rank on Amazon. Every one of those giveaways that you do, Amazon is boosting up your rank, and that will lead to organic sales, which I'll show you in just a sec. So you're buying rank on Amazon. So let me give you a simple example to actually get this point across. If you give 50 units away over the course of a few days or weeks, okay? So let's say you had 500 units and you gave away 50 of those units, okay? Over the course of a few days or weeks, you lost $6 per unit, okay? So your loss on each unit that you gave away is $6. You lost a total of $300 in this case if you did 50 units giveaways. Now, the 300 that you spent, the $300 that you quote unquote lost, I'm going to say spent, that ranked your product on page two, right? So because of those giveaways, because of the rank that you bought or that you spent, your product increased in rank all the way to page two for a couple of major keyword searches. So for your major keyword searches for lemon squeezer, it would be like lemon squeezer and stainless steel lemon squeezer. Those are, let's say, the two keyword that you rank for. Because you're on page two now, it resulted in 5 organic sales per day for your product. So before you were doing 0 sales a day, now you spent $300 doing giveaways, and now you're doing 5 organic sales a day. So over the course of a month, if you did 5 a day, you would have 150 organic sales total in that month, 5 times 30. At $8 profit per unit, if your profit margin or if your profit amount per unit or per sale is $8, you made a total of $1,200 in profit, correct? Because you did $8 profit per unit, and then you did 150 units. So 150 times 8 is $1,200 in profit. You spent $300, okay, doing giveaways to get $1,200 in profit, resulting in net profit of $900 on 200 units. Again, the 150 organic units that you sold plus the 50 units that you gave away equals 200 units total. On the total 200 units that you quote unquote sold, right? 50 giveaways, 150 organic, you got $900 net profit, which is not that bad, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you, and how doing giveaways doesn't mean that you're losing money necessarily, if as long as you're doing it to where you're gaining rank. And of course, that's the reason you're going to do it, is to gain rank on Amazon, which will lead to organic sales. All right. So there is good news. Okay. You can be as aggressive as you want with giveaways. But here's the general rule. Be ready to give away at least 10 to 20% of your first batch of inventory. Okay, this is what I tell everybody, is that when you do that initial batch, be ready to give away 10 to 20%. So if you have 250 units, you're going to give away between 25 and 50 units. If you have 500, you're going to give between 50 to 100 units in giveaways. And if you have 1,000 units to start with, you're going to give away at least 100 to 200 units in giveaways. All right, so be ready to give away 10 to 20% of your first batch of inventory to get your product ranked on Amazon. And you can give away more or less than these amounts. Okay, it's your preference, right? But again, I'm showing you the best strategy, the best, what I've seen that works really well, which is 10 to 20%. Again, you can do less than that, you can even do more than that. It's your preference. All right, so again, I'm going to remind you about this specific slide a couple more times. You need to get two things very quickly: sales and reviews. So now we just talked about how to get sales. Okay, we talked about how to get some initial sales by doing giveaways. Now, giveaways will also tell us and also help us with reviews. So now let's discuss how to acquire reviews. Okay, reviews, why are they important? Let's discuss that and answer that question first. One word, conversion. Reviews are important because of conversion. Conversion is increased, right? Conversion becomes higher when you have more reviews on your product listing. Conversion means, in that word, the definition of that word is basically the number of orders or sales that you make out of the total number of visitors your product listing had over a certain period of time. Okay, so if your total number of visitors in a day was 100, throughout the day 100 people visited your product listing, and 10 people out of those 100 visitors, or of those 100 total people that came to your listing, 10 of them actually purchased your product. At that point you have a 10% conversion for that one day. Okay, so that's what conversion means. So how do reviews help us with conversion? Well, reviews provide credibility and social proof. Okay, people want to know that others have used the product and had a favorable experience with it before they buy it themselves. That's natural, right? I mean, think about it yourself as a buyer on Amazon. I mean, when was the last time you bought a product without at least glancing at the reviews? Never, right? I mean, whenever we search specifically on Amazon, the platform, the marketplace has made it such that, I mean, any product that you look into, it's almost like the first thing you look at, or one of the main things you want to see is, okay, what have other people said about this? So reviews are extremely important, especially in the Amazon ecosystem, especially in the Amazon marketplace. You have to make sure that you have very high quality reviews and a good number of reviews, right? Because that contributes to the credibility and social proof for the potential customer. And so for that reason, reviews are extremely important. So again, I'm going to remind you, you need to get two things very quickly: sales and reviews. How will giveaways help us get both sales and reviews? And how do we do giveaways? We're going to answer these two questions. Okay, how will giveaways help us get these two things that we need to get very quickly when we start out? And how do we actually do giveaways? I'll briefly explain that as well in the next couple of minutes. So how will giveaways help us get both sales and reviews? We will give away our product away for free or at a very steep discount in exchange for honest reviews. I already mentioned this, right? So to do this, you need to do two things. You need to set up a coupon code in Amazon Seller Central, and you also need to do something known as creating a super URL. Now, in this training, I'm not going to cover either one of these. You can actually like literally search this on Google and you'll find directions on how to do each one of these things. Each one takes maybe 5 minutes. It's just for this training, I'm not going to do these in detail, but just so you know, you have to do these two things before doing giveaways. It's extremely important to set up a coupon code in Amazon Seller Central. A coupon code is basically what will actually take the dollar amount off of your product when a person wants to buy it. Let's say your product is $15 and you want to sell it, or you want to do giveaways for it at $2. There has to be some way for that product to be discounted from 15 to 2 with that $13 discount code. You're going to create that coupon code that you provide to people so that they can actually get that discount. Super URL basically is a URL that when you send a person who you're giving away your product to, when they click that URL, it has a keyword attached to it. So for a lemon squeezer, the keyword that I would have associated with that URL would be lemon squeezer. Okay, it's going to be part of that URL. Basically, what it does is that when someone clicks on that URL, which is known as a super URL, it makes Amazon think that that person went to Amazon.com, that they searched the keyword that you put in the URL, which in this case, in the scenario that I'm hypothetically explaining, it's lemon squeezer, and they searched lemon squeezer on Amazon. They went through like 57,000 pages, even though it's not that many pages. That was an exaggeration, but let's say like 100, 200 pages to find your product that pretty much no one has ever found before until this point. And they clicked on your product specifically, okay, and then they made the sale. They purchased your product. It makes Amazon think they did all that just by clicking that URL one time, and that significantly helps your search ranking for that keyword that you used for that URL, for the super URL. So now Amazon, if you did this with multiple people, right? If you did like 25, 50 giveaways and you gave every one of those people a super URL, and every one of those people, Amazon thinks that they searched that keyword, they went through all these pages, they got to your product, and then they purchased it. Not only will it increase your search rank extremely significantly for that one keyword, it will also make Amazon think that more, like so many people are searching for that keyword and then finding your product and buying your product specifically, and for that reason they will increase your BSR and your rank as well significantly. Okay, so that is how giveaways will help us get both sales and reviews. And of course, what I think forgot to mention here is that after you do these two things, right, you give, again, you're going to get reviews in return, honest reviews, which is important. You're going to get honest, unbiased reviews in return from these people who you're giving your products for free or at a steep discount. Okay. How do we do giveaways? Okay. We give 2 units away on day one. I'm going to give you the strategy that works best. Okay. There are other strategies out there on how to do giveaways, but I'm going to give you the best strategy that I've seen that works for me and that I've seen that works for others, whether it's my students or clients or other colleagues of mine. So on day one, you're going to give away 2 units. And this is assuming that you want to give away 50 units total, okay? This example. So you give 2 units away on day one, you give another 4 on day 4. So now you've given away total 6. On day 7, you're going to give away 6. On day 10, you're going to give away 8. And then on day 13, 10. On day 16, 12. And then on day 19, 14. So you see the trend. Every 3 days, okay, you're giving away 2 more units than you did the previous time, and you're waiting 3 days in between each one until that total number of units that you want to give away gets to 50. All right. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way up to 14, because when on the 19th day is when our total reaches 50, which is what we wanted to give away. And again, you apply this to whatever number of units you want to give away, but it's important that you follow the schedule of waiting 2 days in between each one. So on the third day is when you do the giveaways again, and you increase that number and you tier it upward, right? So 2, 4, 6, you going upward. And the reason you do it every third day is because Amazon's algorithm kicks in, according to most experts on Amazon selling, it kicks in every third day. Okay, and that kind of complements the giveaway strategy that you're doing, and it boosts the rank as much as possible if you do this. If you do it every third day. The reason that we tier it upward in terms of the number of units that we give away, the reason we don't do like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 all the way across, the reason we do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? The reason we increase is because it makes Amazon think that our products, our units, our product is increasing in the number of sales over a long period of time, and that helps in maintaining your rank even after your giveaways are done. So even after day 19, after you're kind of done with this giveaway process that you did with 56 units, Amazon will uphold and maintain your rank for a very long time compared to if you only did 3, 3, 3 all across. Because once you did, if you only did 3, 3, 3, then it doesn't make Amazon think, it's just like, okay, it's a consistent number of sales, steady number of sales. Whereas if it's higher and higher and higher, Amazon will continue to increase your rank because the perception on Amazon side is that, hey, this product is really increasing and it's becoming very popular. So we help it and boost it in rank on Amazon. Now, where do we do giveaways? So we just talked about the how to do giveaways. Now, where do we do giveaways? Well, there are certain sites that you can use, and I'm going to list some of the most popular sites that you can use to do giveaways. And these are essentially ecosystems of reviewers, I would say, like marketplaces for reviewers, where most of these are paid services. So you pay like a monthly fee, for example, to use their service, and you can post your product and your coupon code on the site, where on any one of these sites that you're using. And then people, the reviewers, right, they all will see this listing that you just put up, and if they're interested, they can apply to receive your coupon code or apply to receive your product at either free or at a steep discount. And once they apply, you get a notification, and then you can check them out. Actually, you can check their Amazon profile. You can see what kind of reviews they've left in the past. Of course, you're going for people who only or primarily leave 4 and 5 star reviews. Not that you're trying to rig the system or play the system, but naturally you want to get people who leave better reviews, who aren't too strict with their reviews, because you know that that's what they're probably going to leave you as well. So look for the 4 or 5 star reviewers who leave 4 or 5 star reviews. And you also want to look for the reviewers who have the best rank on Amazon. So Amazon ranks its reviewers from 1 all the way down to like millions and millions. Obviously, the closer that number is to 0, the better the reviewer is. So the number one reviewer on Amazon is like insane. They've done tons and tons, like thousands, tens of thousands of reviews. And then the lower you get in terms of that, that rank, the less importance, I guess I would say, the review has. So, for example, a person who has like 5,000 reviewer rank on Amazon, their review is much better and much more credible than a person who's like 500,000 or a million ranked reviewer on Amazon. Okay, so you want to aim for people who have good ranks in terms of reviewing on Amazon. And again, you can use any one of these sites to go about doing that. Like I said, you're gonna basically enter the product. You're gonna put up that listing on any one of these sites, and then you'll get notifications when people apply, and then you can filter through and select the best reviewers or the reviews that you want to give your coupon code to. And at that point, once you do the filtering, that's when you actually give them the coupon code. So it's important that you don't give out the coupon code to just like an entire group of people. Sometimes review groups are out there that do that. They'll just blast out your coupon code, and then and that's not the best way to go in my opinion. Make sure, even though it takes a little bit more time and effort, do the due diligence and go about this process the correct way, and the more diligent way to get it done more effectively. So that's how you do giveaways and where you do giveaways. So recap of everything that we've covered so far. The two most important things that we need to get as we start out for you to actually get to 10K in sales very, very quickly is sales and reviews. And we get both sales and reviews by doing giveaways. And hopefully now you understand exactly what that means and how that process works. And then thirdly, the last thing that I'll mention here is you want to set up an automatic Amazon sponsored campaign. These are literally the 3 steps of this strategy that you need to actually get to 10K. If you can do this and you have a good product and you have a good listing, again, don't forget the first half of what we've covered so far, right? Is literally optimizing your listing is half of this entire strategy. So you want to set up an automatic Amazon sponsored ad campaign. It's a very simple process. You go to Seller Central, you go to the advertising tab, you go to campaign manager, and then you go to create campaign. You're going to set your daily budget. That should be your daily budget to $10. And then you're going to set your bid per click to 51 cents. Okay. Now, this is the best way to go when you start out, in my opinion. Daily budget is fairly low at $10. Again, you can adjust that based on how much you have to spend, what your budget is, overall with your business. You can do it $5 a day, $10 a day. That sweet spot is kind of at $10 a day, and then you want to set your bid per click to around 51 cents, which basically means that that's the amount you're willing to pay or that you want to bid to actually get a click on Amazon. So based on these two values, they will position your ad. So just to explain, if you don't already know what an automatic sponsored ad is, or a sponsored ad on Amazon is, basically when you start out, like I said, no one has ever seen or found or searched for your product. What you can do, or what an Amazon sponsored ad can do for you, is when you pay a few cents, when you pay a little bit of money to Amazon to set this campaign up, Amazon will actually show your product listing on a much higher page for search results than what you would normally. So if your product is normally supposed to show up on page 200 for the search lemon squeezer, because you just started out, you have no sales, no reviews, no nothing, you're on page 200. If you pay and set up an ad campaign, your product could potentially show up on page 1, 2, or 3, or 4, right? Instead of on page 200. And the awesome thing about a sponsored ad on Amazon is that it doesn't look too much like an ad. All it has is the sponsored kind of text next to it. But even then, it doesn't look like those typical like Google ads that you see or those banner ads that you see on like websites. It's not very obvious that it's an ad. It almost looks exactly like a normal listing. So literally, you're getting the opportunity to get on a high page for a search, like on page 1 or 2, just for paying a few cents. And this is really what boosts your business to the next level. It's actually proven that even if your ads are not effective. Just the existence of an ad campaign is known to boost your ranking, boost your product's ranking on Amazon. So even if your daily budget is very low, your bid per click is low, just the fact that your campaign is up and running, actually Amazon, according to research, will actually boost your ranking and boost your product up just because you have that ad campaign created. Okay, so that's why it's very highly recommended that you have this campaign set up. Sometimes people will say, well, wait until you have at least 3 to 5 reviews, because if you're running ad campaigns, you don't want to do that for a listing that doesn't have any reviews. I agree with that to a certain extent. I would say you can start the ad campaign even if you don't have any reviews yet, or even if you're waiting for the reviews to come in from your giveaways. You can start the ad campaign just because it's proven that it boosts your ranking even a little bit on Amazon. And then, of course, once you get reviews, then it'll be more effective. Or you can go on the other hand and say, you know what, I don't want to waste any cents or any even a little bit of money on this. You can wait until you do the giveaways and you get some reviews back, 3 to 5 at least, and then you can go ahead and start the automatic sponsored ad campaign. Again, the process is extremely simple. Literally, the steps that you see on the screen right now, it's as simple as that. If you go to your Seller Central account, Advertising Campaign Manager, create campaign, you'll actually see these two options. You don't need to choose keywords. You don't need to choose any other options. These are the only basic two options that you need to choose. It'll ask you to name your campaign, name your ad set or whatever. That's all for internal purposes. The only two really important things you need to worry about are these two numbers. Enter those in, create the campaign, and it's up and it's running. That's how easy it is to set this up. And that is the final third step of this 0 to 10K strategy. Literally, with these 3 steps, numerous, like beyond, like I can't even count the number of people that I know who have implemented this strategy and have gotten to 10K within a few weeks of implementing it. So let's do the recap here. 0 to 10K, extremely fast. Number 1, sales. Number 2, to get reviews. And the way we do both of these things is by doing giveaways. And number 3 is set up an automatic sponsored ad campaign. And that's a very easy process as well. And that's what will accelerate and boost your rankings and boost your growth in your product on Amazon, is by setting up an Amazon sponsored ad campaign, automatic, right? There's a manual ad campaign as well that you can set up, but you want to make sure that you do it where it's automatic. All right, so that's basically it, right? We covered the first half of the strategy, which is optimizing your listing. And then the second part is the 3 parts: the sales, the reviews, and the automatic sponsored ad campaign that I just went through. So what did you guys think? If you guys have any questions, any concerns, let me know. Let's do this live Q&A right now. I have the special gift for you, a special offer for you right now. After this, in the next couple of minutes, I'll tell you what that is after we do some Q&A. All right. Okay, so good question based on what I mentioned about the price. So if you use the 3 prices, if you include the sale price, Amazon charges depending on your selling price. So even if you're like on when in your Seller Central account, what's kind of weird is that even if you implement the sale price, it'll actually show your middle price, the second price, as your price of the product. But then when you hover over it, it'll show you that your sale price is what it is, right? Is what the actual selling price is of your product. Another weird thing is that the FBA fee, the percentage fee that it shows, is based on the second price, not on the third price. So it'll show you that it's taking out 35 whatever percent that it's supposed to, based on your second price, even though in actuality it's actually going to take off based on what you sell the product for. So the amount that the person pays, the amount that the customer pays for your product, that's what they'll use to calculate the percentage that they will take from you for their the percentage that you're giving to Amazon. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, if you missed the first 30 minutes, I apologize. Um, not sure what we can do about that. So you could give away free promotional codes to friends and family on Facebook in exchange for honest reviews, for example. Yes, that's a good question. I don't recommend giving it away to family and friends because Amazon is known to remove reviews that are done by family and friends. Amazon is crazy and they know everything for whatever, somehow. So I know people who have literally done like 15, 20, gotten 20, 15 to 20 reviews from friends and family. And because Amazon knows that that person is connected or related to those people, somehow they actually get those reviews removed. So I say that I recommend to do giveaways with people that you don't know, with random people, not your family and friends. Okay, so is it allowed to create a super URL? Yes, it's allowed. And if Amazon didn't allow it, they would mention it very uh, explicitly in their terms and conditions, which they don't. So you can create a super URL. There are discussions about the validity of it and if you can do it or not. But again, I've been doing it even until now and nothing's happened. And literally thousands of other sellers are still doing it and nothing happens. So I would say continue doing it. There's no problem with it in my opinion. If you're trying to catch the market early, for example, sell a summer product before people have already purchased it from someone else, how can they give feedback now? Well, again, the process is similar, right? Again, the people who you do the giveaways with, they might not necessarily even need the product right now, but they know that you want to get reviews for it, so they'll be willing to buy your product even if it's like March and your product is actually supposed to sell in like June. They can help you get those reviews. You want to, build that infrastructure and build your listing and make it look amazing, as soon as possible, because people may even start buying that product even before the actual summer season gets there, right? And of course, in the summer season, that's when you are going to be selling, hopefully like hotcakes. So yeah, go ahead and do giveaways as soon as possible, build your listing, and you may get some sales before even the summer comes, and then when the summer comes, at least you have everything already set and you can start doing it. In that case, I probably wouldn't do sponsored ads. I might. It just depends on kind of the performance of the product outside of the summer season specifically. So again, you can kind of test it out and see how that goes. Super URL, like I said, you can kind of search on Google and just search how to create a super URL for Amazon, and um, that will suffice. You'll find directions, or you can wait for the gift that I'm about to present, and that will also be a solution for that problem. Uh, how long should you run this campaign? That's a great question. So I would say run the sponsored ad campaign for 2 to 4 weeks for testing purposes. But the sponsored ad campaign, for the most part, you should run all the time, especially if it's performing well. So Amazon provides you with statistics on how much you spent versus how many sales you made based on how much you spent on those ads. And if it's doing well, then why would you not want to continue running it? For example, for every, let's say, $10 you're putting in, if Amazon is making you $50 in sales, right? Why would you not continue to put $10 in on a daily basis if Amazon's giving you $50 back? Does that make sense? So if you're spending $10 and getting back 50, just keep doing that. And even some people would say scale it. Actually, even do it more and scale it from $10 to 15 or $20 and see if it continues to scale in on the sales side. So the reason I say 2 to 4 weeks for testing, that means that you can, it's more advanced, but you run a manual campaign. So what the automatic sponsored ad campaign gives you is data and reports on what keywords were the best performing, and then you can create a manual ad campaign and only use the manual keyword, or only use the keywords from the automatic campaign that did really really well, and you can create a manual campaign from just those very well performing keywords. So for that is, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks to get enough data and enough information on the report. But even after those 4 weeks, you should still continue running your ads if they're effective. I'm in the UK. How do we get in touch with the giveaway sites? So I think this is a common misconception, or I don't know, question from people. Uh, the thing is that it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in the UK or in in any part of the world, honestly, your first priority and your goal should be to sell on Amazon.com, which is the US Amazon marketplace. You could start with Amazon.co.uk, but that's a much less demand, less much like there's not as much activity there. There's not as much selling going on in that market. It's a much smaller market relatively to the US market. So anytime you're thinking of selling on Amazon, I recommend doing it in the US marketplace first, and then you can expand to the UK and go to other marketplaces. But the US by far is the best market to start selling in. Okay. If you did want to start in the UK first, though, just because you're in the UK, if you think that's more convenient, there are giveaway sites for the UK specifically as well. There are review groups on Facebook for the UK. You can just search Amazon Review UK on Facebook or on Google, and you should find some groups and some sites that can help you with that as well. It's similar to the US. You're just basically finding people in the UK to buy your product instead, or to do the giveaways with instead. and it's the same process. You're going to get reviews from them in return. How long does the ad campaign needs to be? I already answered that. Amazing long. What if our product doesn't sell? Excess inventory? Good question. So there's very easy ways of getting rid of your inventory if, God forbid, your product doesn't sell as you expected. One of the easiest ways to do that is to sell your product at cost price. So if your product is like 20 bucks, but your cost is like 6, you're going to sell it at cost price, break even. And most people will buy your product at cost price just because it's so low, especially if it's below what the competition is selling it at, which it should be if you're selling at cost price, and you get rid of the excess inventory. There are other methods of doing it as well, but that's the most common one, is to simply lower your price to an extent where people are like, this is a no-brainer, I'm going to purchase this product, and they do it, and then you kind of just sell out that way, and you just kind of break even. At least you make your money back. You don't lose anything at that point. How long does it take to start source to start selling? Not long at all. Honestly, it takes a few weeks. Depends on how quickly you want to go through the entire process through the business. When you decide on your logo, can you use something general across multiple categories instead of making a special one for each category? Yeah, so on Amazon, your seller account, you can have as many brands as you want under it. I recommend that your seller name or your business or company name is general so that you can have multiple brands under it. So even if you have a kitchen and dining brand and a cell phone accessories brand, it doesn't matter because the seller name is generic or is vague, whereas the brand name, in my opinion, should be specific. So every brand name or every logo that you come up with should be very specific because you want it to be relevant to the market that you're in. So, I wouldn't keep brand names general because the only two steps that you have to take to build a new brand, honestly, are number one, coming up with a name, which only requires your own time and your own creativity. And then number two is to create a logo, which you can do at in a very inexpensive ways. There are even sites out there where you can create the logo yourself for like $40 or $50. So, in my opinion, it's worth it to create a new brand every time you do a new product in a new niche or market. For example, if your first product was kitchen and then your second product is cell phone accessories, just go ahead and create a new brand for each one of those. Obviously, the ideal scenario is to build your existing or current brand. So if your first product is kitchen and dining, you would want to your second or third product to be in the same category. But if you find another hot selling opportunity in another category, I would just create a new brand for that category. Bro, do you have any course to learn from A to Z? Yes, I do. I'm about to tell you about that. What about taxes? That's covered. That's kind of a big question, so I can't really answer that right now. Like a mosquito repellent bracelet, no mosquitoes now. Yes, that's true. It's the same person who was asking about the summer product. But again, people will buy it even now uh, if you're doing giveaways. And then again, like I said, you can build traction starting now so that when the summer season comes, your product is actually like ranked really well and is going to be one of the top performing ones, even before the season comes in. And that should help you a lot and accelerate your progress with your product once summer actually comes in. Can I ask about the ebooks? How much would they cost to purchase before giving them away for free with the product that you're considering selling? How much would they cost to purchase? To create an ebook on a site like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, you can have an ebook made for like 40, $50. It'll be like 15 to 20 pages long. You want to do your due diligence when searching for writers and people who are actually going to make your ebook. But yeah, I mean, $50, I would say, is what you'll pay to actually create the ebook. Is this system only suitable for private label products or not non-private label too? It's primarily for private label products. You could do it with non-private label, but if it's not your own brand, your own, kind of, you're not considered the manufacturer, which is what private labeling is all about, then it probably would not apply in that scenario or in that case. So I would say it's primarily suitable or applicable to private label products. Did you mention a service that supplies you with descriptive words to boost your search hits? Not a service that really supplies descriptive words, but more like it'll help you do keyword research. So there's sites such as Jungle Scout. I believe Profit Phoenix does that as well. And even using your competitors and Amazon itself, you can actually do a lot of keyword research as well as merchant words. So what I mean by doing keyword research on Amazon, if you type in like lemon, Like if I'm always going back to the lemon squeezer example. If I type in lemon and then space on Amazon search, it'll actually give me search suggestions. And obviously, Amazon search suggestions will be based on what people are searching the most, right? So if you type in lemon space S, it's going to give you all these like different keywords that you would never think are, you would never think of ranking or putting in your listing. But Amazon will show you exactly what those suggestions are, and you can use that as a means of keyword research as well. How quickly can you reach 10K realistically on your first goal as your first goal for your first product? So that's a great example, or that's a great question, I should say. It depends on the selling price of your product. It depends on how aggressive you are with giveaways. So there's different factors, but with my first product, it took about 3 months or so. Okay, so that's from the point where I started selling to get to 10K, and that's not a lot of time. And when you think about making 10K a month in revenue, that's about 3 to 3.5K a month in profit. That's like a full-time job replacement in a matter of 3 months. Okay, so that's pretty much how quickly you can do it. You can do it quicker than that. It might also take you longer than that. Again, there are different factors, but that's kind of what I've had from my experience. Once I order the product from Alibaba, does the product go to Amazon America as I'm in the UK? Yes, yes. So you have the supplier in China send your product, your inventory directly to Amazon FBA. There's a process of doing that. Um, so yeah, that's how it works. You get it sent from the supplier directly to Amazon FBA in the US. So you never have to touch your inventory, even if you're living in the UK or anywhere else in the world. That's why this business is so amazing. All right, I appreciate it. Someone just complimented me. Would FBA prices remain the same if we live abroad but choose to sell in the US? Yes, absolutely. FBA prices do not take into account where you live as a seller or anything like that. It's only solely based on the same factors as everybody else, even if they're living in the US. That is like the price of the product, the selling price, and other factors that Amazon takes into account when determining your FBA fees. It may depend on the category you're in, the type of product you're selling, the weight of your product, the amount of storage it takes up, the size of your product. It takes all those things to account when determining the FBA prices, but it has nothing to do with where you live as a seller, as a manufacturer. How much do you need to start? It depends. Some people have started with as little as 100 units at $6 a unit cost. It's at $600 to start this entire business. That's one of my students, actually, exactly what he did. And he sold out of his 100 units over the holidays. He started in October or November last year, and he sold out completely by January, by the end of January. So now he's restocking. But yeah, he was able to start with $600 at 100 units at $6 cost per unit. And he sold out and he was able to make a good profit so that now he can get more inventory this time. And he also wanted to limit his risk, or maybe he didn't have enough to actually invest, more than 600 or more than that amount. But again, he worked with it and he was able to succeed with that first batch of 100 units. I also, on the other hand, I also know people who have started with 500 units, 1,000 units, $2,000, $3,000. The ideal, I would say, the sweet spot is around 500 units, and if your cost is around $6, you're looking at around 3,000 total. But again, it just depends on your situation, on your circumstances. Will $500 work? It just depends. 500 is I'm not sure if that would be enough, honestly. But I know people who have started with around that much money and have made it work. But it's not as easy as if you have more than that. So it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to start with only $500, in my opinion. Images for sale purposes. Is it better to have blonde white people, or can we have multi-ethnic pics? So it depends on your market, and it depends on what the market is doing, what your competitors are doing. That's very important, right? That's why you always want to do research into the market, into what your competitors are doing. If you see your competitors have multi-ethnic picks, then yes, go for that. If you see that they don't and they're doing like, white people in their pictures, then, and if that's working for them, then that's probably what you should go with. Don't try to change things up just to see if it'll work. Kind of try to stick with things that you know are working for sure. If your competitors are doing it and if they're like selling extremely well, then probably it's best to go with what they're doing and model them. What if you become a brand like OXO? Once you get there, let me know and we can talk about that. But yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. And once you get to a certain point, Amazon will actually, you know, there are certain things that Amazon will offer you as a very large seller. One of the first steps is to give you like your own agent or person inside of Amazon who kind of keeps in touch with you and works with you and whatnot to even grow your brand or your products even more than what they have already. But that's like way down the road. Like once you get to like 100K a month in sales and whatnot, that's kind of when even these things are in consideration. Due to the holiday, my inventory got low and I've stopped the sponsors. Um, okay, so someone sent me a very detailed question. Uh, it's a very, I would say, detailed question. So if you want to ask me that, you can email me at farzan@farzanperupia.com, and hopefully I can help you out with that because I think you're a current student. So if we in the UK and if we're in the UK and we try us or US market, would we ship it to Amazon US for FBA? Yes, yes. So you would ship directly from China or wherever you're sourcing from directly to Amazon FBA in the US. Okay. What about Facebook ad campaign? That's more advanced marketing. I would say become an expert in the Amazon marketing side of it before going to external sources of marketing such as Facebook and other social media mediums like YouTube and Pinterest and all that stuff. That's all there, and you can use those assets to go about marketing your product and increasing traffic. But focus on Amazon first and kind of become an expert in that before moving to anything else, I would say. And anything you go into you can use OXO or any category. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Okay. However, it will be big because of the whole Zyka thing. Okay. Some of these are kind of statements. I'm not sure if they're questions. The photos, will suppliers provide that or should someone do professional photo shoot? That's a good question. So sometimes your supplier will be willing to send you some photos, but the best way of going about taking the best quality images and the exact type of images you need is by getting a couple of units or a few units sent to yourself, okay? And sending it to someone, either doing it yourself or sending it to someone like a professional photographer in your area, or even on Fiverr.com or even on other freelance sites like Upwork and whatnot. You can get professional product photographers to go to take your product images for you. Of course, that'll cost you a little bit, but it's worth it in my opinion if you can get a good rate and you get like awesome pictures. So yeah, you would have to get someone to do that for you, or you do it yourself if you're proficient in photography. Isn't it dangerous to send directly to Amazon FBA without seeing inventory? To a certain extent, it is. That's why part of the process is getting samples and making sure the quality is great, testing out the product yourself first. Even when you do send it directly to Amazon FBA, what I advise is get like let's say 5 units or 3 to 5 units sent to yourself, and the rest to Amazon FBA. So if you have 500 units, send 495 to Amazon FBA and 5 to yourself, just so you can make sure that the quality is what you want it to be, that everything is good. So, and you can even have those 5 units sent earlier than the rest of the batch of inventory, just in case. So if it's like the final product, you want to send like 1 or 2 to yourself before the rest of the batch is kind of complete, or if it's the supplier's still working on it. And if there are any issues with those 2 units that you got and it's not as expected, you tell the supplier, hey, fix this for the rest of the batch before you send it, and then kind of just do that before the shipment is finally sent to Amazon FBA. Is it legal to private label a product that already exists on Amazon? Yes, it's absolutely legal. You're not going to copy the brand of the product. Obviously, you're putting your own brand on it. And for the most part, most products are like you can model them and you can sell the exact same type of product, other than products that are patented. So there are patented products sometimes on Amazon and online. So you want to make sure you research and make sure that none of those products that you're looking into or your final product that you're going to choose is not patented. And there are ways about going that as well. You can just search on Google, patented products, or search U.S. patent products, and you can go about doing that. For the first batch, I would prefer to inspect my product, but since I don't live in the US, what would you advise in this situation? I think I pretty much just answered that question. Just have your supplier send you like 2 units to you first. Once those two are done, check it out, make sure it looks good, and everything is good, and then kind of just have them finish the batch and then send it to FBA if everything is good. Where do you get people to model the products? Um, that most of the time the photographers will take care of. So either you do it yourself and you use your own, like hand or whatever you want to use to model, or you get like a friend of yours to do it with you if you want to take the pictures yourself, or you tell the product photographer to include certain things in the products, the images, so you can have that done as well. What about $2,000? Yes, that should be enough in my opinion. How do we get really good pictures? I think I already explained that. I meant OXO in terms of using an acronym across the board of any category to stick with the same brand logo. Oh yeah, that's a good point. OXO, but like when you think of OXO, they're all in kitchen and dining. So that brand has been built, and OXO is that brand of kitchen dining. I wouldn't ever see them starting a product line in like cell phone accessories and keeping the same name OXO, right? They'd probably use a different name, in my opinion. So, but OXO, like it doesn't. I guess it is a general name. I see what you mean by that. You could do that, and you could open up a second brand or start a second brand with a generic word or abbreviation like that. I think that would be fine. At 100,000 a month, you might as well buy the factory outright. Yeah. Is 1,200 a good start? Potentially, yes. With $1,200, you could make this work. I think. How to get UPC code? Um, that that's covered in detail in my course, which I'll get into in just a second. Why Amazon, Fiverr.com? Well, why Amazon is kind of, can this way be effective in other websites? Well, Amazon is not comparable to any other website in the world. It's the biggest marketplace. It's literally the biggest online mall in the world. That's where everybody goes to shop, especially in the US. So I would say that you can't do it on any other website other than Amazon. Under my review, I have this message. This account has been. Uh, okay, so the person who messaged me this question under my review, I have this message. This account has been, do not all any action from it. Why is that? Message me or sorry, email me, and I'll look into that. I messed up with my Amazon seller sign up. I think you can change your seller name potentially. I don't think that's too difficult. There, go to the Amazon support, seller support, and there has to be a way to change your seller name. Uh, is it a good or too risky idea to sell a lookalike product similar to brand name one that will sell well? And if so, how would we write the title? Like, oh no. So you like whenever you create your own product and private label a product. Well, first of all, it's not too risky to sell a lookalike product. That's the concept of private labeling, and you want to try to model products that are already selling well as closely as possible. With regards to putting in your title and in your description like the name of the other brand and of the other product, I don't recommend doing that. And actually, in your title specifically, you should never put like other brand names and whatnot if you're just trying to get search traffic or if you're trying to kind of compare yourself to them. Don't ever do that. Amazon doesn't like other brand names of other products being in your title specifically. You may get it into your description or your bullets, um, but even then, sometimes that makes you seem desperate, or it may not be the best move from a marketing perspective. So again, you can kind of test that out and see if that works for you and your market and your product. What's more effective? Start with small cap investment of say 500 and I learn gradually, or just go for 1.5k? That's a very very good question. It's actually something that I'll address right now. For a person who is not necessarily confident in any part of this business or in themselves to actually be successful with this business. I mean, you should be confident in this with everything that you know about this business so far. But if you still want to limit your risk, and I completely understand that, then yes, you can start with a batch of like 50 to 100 units and test that out first and see if the product sells or not. Right? That's an excellent way of limiting your risk and at the same time pursuing this business to see if it goes well. And if it does, then you simply add more inventory, and if it doesn't, then you only spent $600. And of that 600, let's say, if you only started with 100 units, you can make most of that $600 up just through the sales. You'll be very close to breaking even anyway. So yes, absolutely. You can do that where you test it out with 100 units. If it goes well, scale. Add more inventory. If it doesn't go well, at least break even, sell out your inventory of 100 units, which is not that hard at all if you only have 100 units, and move on to a second product or another product and kind of follow the same process until you find one that is actually successful. So yeah, very good question. What about Shopify? Would you say that is a good way to make money as well? Yeah, so that's also kind of a future like thing that you want to do. But again, master Amazon, take advantage of the Amazon marketplace, and then once you actually gain a good amount of traction, then you can look into external forms of selling, such as Shopify. How to use the calculator just to see on FBA without having a product up yet? Yes, so you can use a tool called Amazon FBA Revenue Calculator. If you type in FBA Revenue Calculator on Google, you will find that tool. It's a free tool, and you can use it to predict or determine what your potential fees would be and what your potential profit margin would be on Amazon if you sold a specific product, even if you're not selling it yet. It's kind of like a prediction tool that you can use to see what your potential profit margin would be for any product. Is this super secret $10,000 method detailed in the course? Yes. So the method that I just showed you is actually very concise and brief compared to the overall like detailed method. So like creating super URL, creating a coupon code and the entire process. There's even different giveaway tier methods and all that stuff. It's a lot more in detail. I've made it very concise for the purposes of this training because we have a limited amount of time. But yeah, that's all covered in great depth and detail in the course. Thank you for your help. No problem. How long for the webinar to finish? Way past my bedtime. Give me like 10 minutes. I got you. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the most part for questions. There are a couple of more, but I got to get moving because I have to finish in the next like 10 minutes or so. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the training, I have a special gift for you, and I want you guys to bear with me because it's a bonus, it's an offer, it's a gift that is not available, to anyone other than to people right now who are attending live. And there's many of you, and so I hope that you love what I'm about to go through. Just give me about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be done with this. And hopefully, you benefit from even this last part of this live session. So, first of all, again, I want to thank you all for the patience and for all of the questions. They were excellent questions, and I hope that everyone else benefited from the other, people's questions and the answers that I gave, and hopefully it was beneficial and valuable to you moving forward with this business, hopefully. So now, sorry. So you already know, having attended this training or having it, maybe accessed my free 4-part video series or any other Amazon selling resources and you haven't gotten started yet, you already know that you need to start your own business to make real money online. Hopefully you already realize that, because that is really true, honestly, right? The potential today to make money online is like unlike any other opportunity that's out there today or even in the past, right? This money making opportunity is crazy, as I know, because from my experience as other students of mine and clients of mine and other colleagues and people that I know, there's literally thousands of people that are making money online and specifically on Amazon. So the opportunity is there, and this is like a revolution. Like this doesn't happen, this only happens once. And so that's why you need to take advantage of it right now. So before investing in my online program, so most of you probably know that I have an online course, and this online course is, it's comprised of recorded videos, so you can go through it at your own pace. It's 10 modules long, and many students have had success with it. And I launched it for the first time in October of 2015, and now I'm launching it now. And so I want to just present it to you guys. But before I actually do that, and before you actually kind of consider signing up for it, you need to have confidence in my ability to teach you how to set up your own Amazon business. Okay, hopefully this training was enough to show you that I have a lot of confidence and experience and knowledge about this business, and I've helped a lot of people, achieve success with it. But let me tell you a little bit more about it as well. So before I get into any details, I want to quickly let you see what others have said about the results they've gotten from the stuff that I've taught them. So as you can see here, a few testimonials that are showing up on the screen. People have talked about how really practical and in-depth the course is, how it's pretty much all you need to get started with a long-term business on Amazon. It's extremely affordable, and I'll tell you what the cost or the price is in just a few minutes. It's impressive. It's worth its value in gold. Working from home and making a decent income. And these are some of these people are women. Stay at home. People. Sisters who were basically looking for an opportunity to make a side income or make additional income for the household, and this has been a very good way of doing that for them. There are people who have launched their products, and this is only within the last 3 or 4 months since October when they signed up. People said, you did a really good job on this course. It's well designed. It's practical. You've done a great favor. There's a person, the third one, he's actually from Dubai, and he said he got more than 30 sales a day just after a couple of weeks of starting selling on Amazon. And this was during the holidays, so he kind of had this huge boost in sales, and he was able to sell, I believe, 80% of his inventory within just about 2 weeks. And so he had to kind of restock. But he was like, "Hey, I'll bring you out to Dubai. We got to celebrate. Like, this is the most awesome thing ever." So he was very appreciative of that, and it's great to see that other people are having this type of success and achieving these results. I like the way you deliver things, your style. It's catchy. He started 2 weeks, and within 2 weeks he got 4 to 6 organic sales. People are raving about whenever they get the first sale. That's like the magical moment when you have that first sale. It's the best feeling in the world. People just expressing the gratitude for joining the program. And then this paragraph essay testimonial, and I'm grateful because this person put in a lot of time to write this out. But he touched on pretty much everything you could imagine. It's been proven effective with people around the world. Weekly coaching calls, professional Facebook group. I'm gonna get into that in just a sec. Um, but yeah, so everything here. Hopefully, those testimonials were some motivation for you to sign up for this program that I'm about to explain. So, what is this program, this online training program, all about? Well, it's called Ecom Entrepreneurs Academy. It's an online training program. It's a comprehensive 10 module program that walks you through the pieces of the business, step by step, of the entire Amazon selling business model. And the whole program is designed so you can have your first Amazon product up and generating sales and profit for you within just 60 days. So when you sign up, the first thing in the welcome video that I introduce you to is my infamous 2 month quick start strategy that people have used to launch their product on Amazon within 2 months. And I show you step by step every single week what you need to do and what you need to accomplish to actually achieve that goal of getting your product up within 2 months. So literally, when I say within just 60 days, I actually mean that. And I have a plan laid out for you to actually be able to do that. So every module has an introduction, which gives you a quick overview of what you'll learn, as well as a recap in checklist format of the key points to ensure that you get each and every nugget and gem from every single module. So every lesson also comes with a PDF handout with all the slides and all the content covered. And so this way you can simply follow along as you're learning, building your business. So it comes with all these downloadable resources to help you out to further your learning. And now here you'll see basically inside the course, I wanted to show you exactly what you can expect when you sign up and when you log in. And this is what the course layout looks like. As you can see, all the modules are laid out, one by one from 1 all the way down through 10. And each module has various lessons within it. It's very organized and it's very comprehensive. I would say the total course content is around between 13 and 15 hours, right? That's inclusive of all 10 modules. And now if we jump into module 3, you can see all the lessons laid out. It gives you the amount of time for each lesson. And even when you jump into any one of these lessons, you can actually mark it as complete. So it feels like a course, and it tells you how many lessons you've completed and how many you have left, right? So there's over like 80 lessons across all these 10 modules. So you can, go through this at your own pace, at your own convenience. And it really has that feeling like of a course so that you can progress steadily. So module number 1, I'm going to just tell you exactly what you'll get in each module from modules 1 through 10 so you know exactly what to expect. Module 1 is all about welcoming you, showing you, like I said, the 2 month quick start strategy, gives you the overview of the business. And then I talk to you a little bit about mindset and motivation. In module 2, I show you how to find products. So this is extremely in depth. I go through everything that you need to know. I also go through some case studies and some raw videos on how you go about product selection, how you do like narrowing down your list to the top 3. I actually show you how to do all that in depth, exactly how I do it myself. Module number 3, finding suppliers. This is also extremely in depth and extremely important. So how to contact suppliers, important terms that you need to know with regards to international, sourcing and shipping, and I even give you a supplier selection spreadsheet, just like there's a product selection spreadsheet. So it's easy for you to filter through different suppliers and figure out who's the best one, how to order and evaluate product samples, how to negotiate, how to go about packaging and labels. And then, of course, after all that is done, how to actually place your mass production order. All of that is in module 3. Module number 4 is about setting up your Amazon business. So in this module, I talk to you about how to build your brand infrastructure at the beginning, how to go about creating your brand name, your company name, how to design your logo, and then actually creating your Amazon Seller Central account. So this second video, or the second lesson in this module, prerequisites to create an Amazon Seller Central account, people love this video because it's meant for people who don't live in the US. And for this one lesson, I spent probably 4 to 5 hours of research to actually put this one lesson together. It's about 15 to 20 minutes long, but behind that, there's like 4 to 5 hours of work because I'm not outside of the US, so I had to do like tons of research. I had to ask people questions about how everything works and how to actually go about this. And so, literally, anyone in the world, based just from that one lesson, can learn how to create your Seller Central account, even if you don't live in the US. And then you go about creating your Seller Central account, and then acquiring a UPC code, creating your first product listing, and then learning at the end of this module how to actually go about sending your products from China, from your supplier, all the way to the US. That has to do with your barcode labels and your box shipping labels. That's also covered in this module. Module number 5, setting up your Amazon product listing. So some of what we covered in this training, but way more in depth, okay? And then I'll also show you how to put together your optimized product listing. That's module number 5. Module number 6, setting up your brand. So in this module, I talk to you about how to set up your domain, your website, your email address for your business, your customer email follow-up sequence, so you can send your customers who purchase your product on Amazon emails to follow up with them and to get reviews from them, to get feedback from them. That's extremely important to growing your brand and your business. I give you an in-depth explanation of how to go about doing that in this module, and then how to create your Facebook page, and also how to create promotional videos that you can put on your Facebook page or on your website or on YouTube. That's all covered in module 6. Module number 7, marketing and promotion. So in this module, it's like one of my favorite modules. So modules 5 and module 7 are like really close to my heart because I'm in marketing and promotion and I love this stuff. And this is pretty much the extremely in-depth version of some of what you saw, or some of what you learned in this short training, live training. So I show you the entire launch strategy, how to do a coupon code, super URL, the strategy, different giveaway methods, how to do both automatic and manual ads, and then also how to continually test and improve your product listing. All of that is covered. It's an extremely in-depth and comprehensive module. And this is one of the most important modules of the entire course, because this is how you actually get your product in front of people and how you actually go about selling your product to people on Amazon. So module number 7 is extremely important, arguably the most important module in the entire course. Module number 8, managing your business. So in this module, you have basically a weekly schedule and strategy to manage your business that I've put together that helps you on a daily and weekly basis keep track of your business and make sure that everything is running smoothly. And that involves things like seller feedback, your inventory and sales, how to do customer support. And then also, if you want to register your brand with Amazon, I show you how to do that as well. Module number 9, growing your business. In this module, I show you how to outsource certain aspects of your business, how to delegate jobs and responsibilities to others so that you can focus on the higher level tasks and responsibilities of you as the CEO and the owner of the business. And then also how to add products. When is the right time to add products? How to go about adding products. Should it be under the same brand, or can we start a second brand or a third brand? I discuss all of that in module number 9. And then module 10 is managing your finances. So in this module, I talk to you about managing your finances on a general basis, and then also about accounting and taxes. Pretty much what everyone hates, right? All the financial stuff, that's pretty much the last module. And there's a reason it's last, because no one likes to go through this stuff anywhere else other than last. You kind of just want to push it off towards the end. But on a serious note, again, module 10 will cover all the stuff that you need to know about accounting and taxes. So there you have it. Those are the 10 core training modules of the EEA online training program. And you can see that it's extremely in-depth, it's comprehensive, and it walks you through every detail of creating your own online business using Amazon to ensure that you have the best chance of succeeding as an online entrepreneur. So you really, for the first time, truly have freedom with your time and money, right? So, you get instant access to everything, and you get lifetime access to everything for signing up for the online training program. A lot of times, you know what courses do? They'll give you access to like the first two modules, or like the first, like let's say if the course is 10 modules, they'll give you access to like the first 5 modules over the course of the first month. And then after the 30 days in which you can get your refund, right? That's when they actually give you all the good stuff. Right? So they'll actually limit access to you because they don't want you to access the good stuff until you can't get a refund anymore, and then they'll give you access to everything else after the 30 days. But I don't want to do that. I'm literally, once you sign up for the course and you access it, you have access to all the modules and everything in the course. I'm not limiting anything because I'm confident in everything that I've put in this course, and how it can help you start and build your Amazon business. So I have nothing to be afraid of, or nothing to limit, to wait until your refund period expires or anything like that. So you have instant access to everything. You also have lifetime access to everything. So any updates that we make in the future, we're constantly going to be improving and adding things because Amazon is changing, quite a bit all the time. So anything that's new, anything that's maybe not covered in depth enough, and someone has a request, hey, can you please explain this more, elaborate on this more? I'd be happy to create a new video or a new lesson just on that new topic. So you get access to all that at no additional cost. It's lifetime access to any updates forever in this course. And by the end of the 10 modules, you'll know exactly what to do every step of the way to have your Amazon business set up within, like I said, just 60 days. But we're just getting started. That's just the training modules, and there's a lot more to the EEA online training program. So let's keep moving. 5 live weekly coaching calls is the second component of this training program and of this package that I'm showing you and presenting to you right now. So basically, starting the week of March 7th, we're going to have group coaching calls with all the students who sign up for the course. And you can ask any questions or concerns that you want. You get support, asking the instructor questions. You hold yourself accountable with regards to your business. You benefit from other students' questions and experiences, right? And you access different Amazon business experts as well. So like last time when I launched it in October of 2015, I brought on, a couple of experts throughout the 5 weeks, people who are very, very well and proficient in a specific area of the business. One of my colleagues that I brought last time was amazing at sea shipping. And so for my students, he literally went through the process of sea shipping step by step. And so that, it's extremely valuable when you can have these guest speakers who I bring on, so that you get that with the group coaching calls, and then you get a lot more as well. So there's still a lot more to cover, including, like I said, the crazy never been done before bonus you'll be getting access to in just a couple of minutes. But before continuing, I want to quickly tell you who this training program is not for. Okay, I want to be very upfront and very serious with you. Simply buying this program will not cause your bank account to explode overnight. Okay, if you're simply looking for a quick fix, like money making scheme, or an easy way or magic push button to become rich, you might want to give this a pass. This is not for you, and this is not what I'm claiming this program or this business to be. Okay, it's not a get rich quick scheme. And I, in fact, hate that stuff because it causes more financial damage and it crushes more people's dreams than anything else online. When people get fooled into taking courses and programs that promise them you're going to make this much money in this much time and blah, 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 like I don't make any guarantees or any claims like that. It requires hard work, it requires dedication, but I understand the potential of this business through my own experience and through others' experiences, okay? So don't ever fall for that get rich quick scheme stuff, and that's not what this is either. What I'm about to what I'm about and what I believe in is long-term sustainable income and business growth from simple actions and a proven plan. And that's what I believe this business is. There are strategies that are proven, there's a plan, there are actions that you can take that are proven to achieve success, and that's what I'm going to present you with. So we'll be focusing on implementing this training program, not just learning it. Okay? Which means that yes, you'll be using the resources I show you to actually set up your business, so that will require that you actually take action and do things. Okay, a lot of times people think, well, I'm just going to take this course and somehow magically I'm going to become, like, a millionaire. No, you actually have to take action based on what you learn. It's not just learning, but it's also about implementing and taking action. So for the entrepreneur who's truly ready for and excited about having their own successful real money making online business, who doesn't want to invest hours of time trying to figure things out or get it all set up, who doesn't want to continue the trial and error method of learning, who understands the value in finally getting real world, been there, done that expert guidance from someone who has generated multiple six figures online for himself, and has shown countless others just like you how to set it up. If that describes you, then this program is for you. Now, what happens if while you're going through the training, through the course, you have some questions? Well, this is the third component of this package. What if you want some feedback, you want some brainstorming, you want some critique on something? Well, to ensure that you get all the help and attention you need while setting up your online business using what you learn, you also get access to a private, members only Facebook support group. Now, this group is called EEA Masters, and you can get your questions answered here, your feedback, critiques, interact with other entrepreneurs and other students who are also pursuing this business, ask questions, get inspired. When people put and post in the group, hey, I just got my first sale, hey, I just launched my product, hey, I just placed my mass production order with the supplier, right? When you hear things like that from other students, it's so amazing and it's so inspiring, even for myself as the instructor, because I see the results and the progress that students are making, and it should be a motivation to you to also, kind of get on track and kind of also, stay that pace as well and keep going with this business. So it's an amazing community that you get to be a part of, and we have several students, many, over 100 students already uh, in that group. But that's not all. Component number 4, you also get access to over 6 hours of recordings from the 5 very intense live coaching calls slash Q&A sessions that I did with my students in October of 2015. So my first launch that happened then, like I told you, I had 5 live coaching calls with them and Q&A sessions. So all those recordings are available to you right now. And these were done with the first batch of students, and every question you can imagine about setting up your business, Amazon business, using this online training program was asked and answered during those coaching calls. So you'll have all the support, nurturing, and handholding you want to ensure that you get your first Amazon product up and generating sales within just a few weeks. Now, the next thing I want to present you with as part of this package is the 1-year free access account to Merchant Words. Now, this is Merchant Words is a tool that you can use to do keyword research and to figure out how many people are searching for a specific product or keyword on Amazon. And this is a $30 a month normal program or platform. They charge $30 a month for their, to use it, but you can get it for free as part of this package. You get it free for 1 year, and that in and of itself is worth $360 that you get for $0 for free as part of this. So here's a quick recap so far. You get lifetime access to the 10 training modules, including all the handouts and resources. You get access to the 5 live weekly group coaching calls. You get access to the private members only Facebook mastermind and support group. You get access to the entire 6-hour plus archive of Q&A recordings and live coaching calls from my last batch of students. You also get access to a 1-year free access account to Merchant Words and all of that. And so the question now is, well, how much is this program actually worth? Like, he's telling us all this stuff. It's cool. It's awesome. I need to go to sleep. What is this about? Well, what's the tuition for this online training program? I struggled for a long time on whether to charge $2,000 or $1,500 for this program. And between the amount of modules and lessons and access to everything that I've mentioned to you, all that stuff is easily worth either one of these numbers or more, honestly. Okay. And while I was thinking about the tuition and how much it should be, I remembered a jaw-dropping experience that I had about a year ago, and I decided that with this offer, I wanted you to have the same reaction that I did. I was watching a similar free video series, and I was attending webinars and these live sessions from another well-known online entrepreneur, and I was super excited about the content and information, just like so many of you have been, of this training or of this video series if you had access to that 4-part free video series. And I remember thinking to myself, well, man, this is easily going to be $1,500, if not more, right? And that's what I felt the training was worth, actually. So I was like, even if it is, even if it does cost $1,500 or $2,000, it's just, it's a lot of money, but I'll still pay for it. I'll still actually get into the program just because everything that he presented was so amazing. And I was like, I need this. And it's going to take my business to the next level, right? This program that he was offering. And I was like, even if it's 1,500, I'm going to pay for it and I'm going to buy it. But when the price was revealed, I was shocked at how cheap it was and what a ridiculous bargain this guy was giving. And so I immediately decided that that's the same reaction I wanted to give you when you saw the tuition for the EEA online training program. And one last thing I want to mention before I actually show you the price is that, when people see the price, they're kind of shocked and they're like, well, why would you charge that only that much, that little for this? And my mission, honestly, behind this program is to make it accessible to make this business accessible, to make this course and this business model accessible to as many people as possible. There are people who are charging $5,000, $3,000, $2,000 for online Amazon courses. And honestly, in my mind and in my opinion, it's better to spend a few $100s and save the rest and use the rest on your actual business, right? I don't believe in paying more for a course than the money that you invest in the actual business. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's kind of the mission behind my price point that I'm about to show you. So here's what I've decided to do. Instead of charging you $1997, right, $2,000 or $1,500 for the online training program, you're going to get access to everything for one single payment of $497. That's right, less than $500. And that's why a lot of people are like, what? Like, is there something that's missing from the course? Did you not, like people have these questions, but honestly, everything is there. And and you saw, I showed you inside the course and I showed you what every single module has. And it's very comprehensive and it's everything you need to get started. So just one payment of $497 and no payment ever again. There's no continuity. There's no ongoing membership or billing. This is it. You get lifetime access to everything for $497. And the value alone that you get from just one or two of the bonuses, honestly, like the Merchant Words bonus, would more than pay off for this program, right? The live coaching calls or the Facebook group or anything. That's all worth more than just this price, let alone the profit you can reap within the first few days of having your own Amazon business up and running. So to really put this over the top for you, like I said, I have this crazy special bonus for you. To kind of make this a no-brainer for you, I decided to include this bonus that I haven't seen done or offered by anyone else, and that is special. This bonus is only available to you because you're here attending this live training, and that's my personal recommendation and feedback on your top 3 product opportunities. And I'll be honest, I did a live training just a few days ago, and I also offered this bonus. And what I realized, I was actually not going to offer this bonus again. Okay. And I limited it to the first 10 people, and I had 15 people acquire it or sign up for it. Okay. Because 5 people couldn't. They couldn't stand the fact that they didn't get in the first 10 slots, and so I was like, you know what, fine, I'll give, I'll extend it to 15 people. And when I was thinking about the bonus for this training, I was like, you know what? I can do something else, or I can just go with what people really like and what people love. And that's my personal recommendation on your top 3 product opportunities. So when you narrow down your list to your top 3, I will personally give you feedback on each one and recommend to you which of those 3 I think is the best and which one you should go for. And I'm very honest with my feedback. I'm not going to just tell you, hey, yeah, this one is good and that's it. I'm very detailed. And if your 3 products suck, I will tell you they suck. And I will tell you that you cannot do any one of these 3 because you're going to fail and you need to do more research and more product selection. Right? I've done that with people where I'm like, don't do any one of these 3. Find something new because I really care about your business and your success. And I will be honest, perfectly, very clear and honest with you in my feedback. And I can't practically do this for everyone. And because it takes me around 30 minutes to evaluate all 3 product opportunities and write out my recommendations for you. And so my personal recommendation and feedback on your top 3 product opportunities, this crazy special bonus, is only available for 10 additional people. Like I told you, I opened it up for 15 people the first time. Now I can only do 10 more. And so this is only available for the first 10 people who sign up now. And so you see how serious I am about everything I've told you about this program. And to add one last thing to this, I'm going to offer you a guarantee. You can go through the entire program and even take a full 30 days to do it so you can see everything for yourself, which no one does. Like I told you, people limit like different modules and different lessons, and they won't let you access the really good part of the course until you actually are past this 30-day refund period. But I am giving you access to everything and letting you put it into action and trying everything out. And if it doesn't work for you and if you don't like it, it's not what you expect, then send me an email, send my support team an email, and we will get you a refund, every penny that you paid, as long as it's before the 30 days, the 30-day refund period ends. So to grab your spot in the online training program now and get everything that I've shared with you, which is all of this stuff, right? Lifetime access to the 10 training modules, the 5 live weekly group coaching calls, the Facebook group, the 6 hours of recordings from the last 5 weekly group coaching calls, 1 year access to Merchant Words, and also the 30-day no questions asked 100% money back guarantee, as well as the crazy bonus that I'm offering right now for 10 people. Go to bit.ly/EEA live bonus. Sign up now. There are like multiples of 10 people on this live call right now, there are like a lot of people on this call, and so only the 10 people. I literally cannot do any more than 25 total spots. Like I said, 15 have already filled up. I've opened it up to 10 more people because I love you guys, and I want you to take advantage of this because, as I've mentioned or implied, that those people who have received my recommendation on their final three products, they honestly go, they move forward to do and perform the best that I've seen out of others who don't get my recommendation on their products. So it's a very valuable bonus in my opinion. It's invaluable, actually, in my opinion. So you want to take advantage of this. This is not a normal opportunity. This is not going to be offered again or forever. So you want to take advantage of this while you have the chance, because I will literally put in my time and effort to to researching and looking into every one of your three products, and then giving you my recommendation and feedback. And I almost forgot, I've got one more bonus for you. So 6 months of e-commerce business monthly training. So there were some questions about Shopify and Facebook and this and that. That will all be covered in the 6 months of e-commerce business monthly training, because I want you to expand your online business beyond Amazon, even build your own online store like with Shopify. So I'm going to give you those steps in one, nice long training video every single month for the next 6 months starting March. So you'll get that bonus as well as part of this package. So to register, like I said, go to bit.ly/EEA live bonus now to take advantage, and you're going to get everything that you see on the screen, all the bonuses, everything, the 30-day money back guarantee. Go to the link that you see on the screen now and take advantage. I'm going to see how many people have already signed up. If you've signed up, or if you are confirming that you will sign up like in the next couple of minutes, let me know in the comments so that I can confirm you. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know right now. And yeah, take advantage of this. Someone keeps telling me that they're about to fall asleep. I apologize. I know it got very late, especially if you're like in the UK or other parts of the world. I sincerely do apologize if you were falling asleep, but okay. So someone said, when does this end? So the bonus that I'm offering right now, the crazy special one, is ends pretty much now. Once I log off, the launch itself for the 497 price point for the course, that ends on March 3rd. So in just a couple of days, the launch for the course will end. So yeah. Did I miss how I can get this course? No. The directions are here on the screen. If you can still see my screen, go to bit.ly/EEA live bonus, and you can get the access and the special bonus right now. I have timestamps for every sign up that comes in, for everyone who signs up for the course, and so I will basically take a look at the timestamps and see, okay, anyone who signed up from, let's say, like right now, or let's say 5 minutes ago until the end of this webinar, those are the people who are going to get access to this bonus. So make sure to sign up before we log off, otherwise you won't be considered in this bonus. Can I have this great course slide copy? I was too late. Yes, send me an email at Farzan, Farzan, at Farzan Parupia, Farzan Parupia at, sorry, Farzan at FarzanParupia.com. So, and then just kind of make that request, and hopefully I should be able to send you these slides. Yes, I do need to go to sleep. I apologize. I signed up this morning from the same link offered, but I wasn't sure if I got it. How can I confirm that I got the three product opportunities? Okay, cool. So I will make sure that you get the bonus if you signed up. Like earlier today and you didn't know about this, or I was offering this, I will absolutely make sure. I got your name, and I know that you already signed up for the course, so I'll make sure that I tag you in my system, and I'll send you the form link where you can submit your top three product opportunities for my recommendation. So, okay. So someone said that I won't be able to sign up until sometime this week, but I really want the bonus. Okay. When you sign up, or when you're about to sign up, remind me that you were on this call. Uh, Actually, no, I'm gonna have to note your name down. Hold on. Putting your name on my phone. Okay, yeah. So, if you intend to sign up, then I will make sure that when you do sign up, I will include you on the list just because you made that request. But do it like ASAP. All right. Who else? Okay. Who else is this? Even though I literally don't have time until late April to work on this. That's okay. Someone said that, well, if I sign up right now, I can't really work on it until later. That's perfectly fine because the course launch ends on March 3rd, like I said, and this bonus ends like right now. So if the bonus can be acquired at any time. So like even someone asked me like sometime today they were like, you sent me the link or to the form where I can submit my 3 opportunities, but I'm not going to have that ready. I'm still doing product research and selection. I'm not going to have it ready until like in 3 weeks or something. Can I still do it then? I was like, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't care if in like 6 months you fill out the form and be like, hey, I need you to take a look at my 3 product opportunities. I will still, if that's the point where you actually get to that part of the business or, you're ready to have them, get feedback and recommendation on them, that's when I'll do it for you. So it's up to you completely. I mean, how do we get that recommendation? Like I said, sign up on the link on the screen, bit.ly/EEA live bonus. Make sure you hydrate yourself. Yes, my voice is like going away. Yes, the price hikes up after the 3rd of March. It's either going to be 997 or 1997, but we'll see. I'm trying but can't. Is the link not working for you or is the payment not working for you? If you can maybe clarify, that'll help me diagnose the issue and kind of tell you what you can do. Um, yes. If you, like I said, if you can't sign up like exactly right now, but if you're going to do it later tonight, I will put down your name on my list. So I got like a couple of names now. And when you do it, I'll make sure that you're on the list of people who get the bonus. So, okay, awesome. I got a few people telling me that they just signed up. Yes, you do get the bonus if you just signed up. So, congratulations. And I will, like I said, there's timestamps on every one of these signups. So, I will make sure that you get that bonus for sure, definitely. Will you be the only instructor on the live coaching calls? No. Like I said, I will bring on guests who are even doing better than myself on Amazon. They're like amazing. They're like experts on specific areas of selling on Amazon or even e-commerce. So I'll try my best. Based on the feedback from the students, I'll actually ask you guys and all the students, hey, what would you most want to have covered during this upcoming live coaching call? And then based on that, I'll find an expert on that topic, and then I'll bring him or her to go over it during the coaching call with myself. And that's one thing I love about the coaching calls, honestly, is that we get other people there as well. Okay, cool. I got your husband's name as well. Okay, I will appreciate if you add me. I'm not sure what that means. Add you to what? I'm sad I won't be able to sign up this time. Will you be doing this ever again? I'm not sure when the next launch will be. But we'll keep you updated, but I'm sorry that you can't sign up right now due to whatever situation or circumstances that may be preventing you. I'm trying yet, but don't know why. We'll for sure in 1 hour on computer. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I got your name down as well. If it's not working for you at this moment, maybe it'll work in an hour. I got your name down, and I'll make sure that you get it as well, inshallah. Okay, sure. You can get confirmation from your wife. That's a great one. I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. I love that one. I love that reason. Done it way too many times. Okay, so I got that name as well. Okay, any other questions or concerns? We're about to log off in just a couple of minutes. This webinar has lasted for like 2 hours or something, more than 2 hours. So I appreciate you guys' patience. So the person who's asking me that, hey, where do I sign up? Like I said, go to the link that you see on the screen, bit.ly/EEA live bonus, and you can sign up there. Yes, so like I said, as long as you do it before March 3rd, if you can tell me right now that you're going to sign up before March 3rd, and just because you were on live on this call, I will honor the fact that you want the bonus, and I'll make sure that you get that bonus after you sign up. But just make sure I got your name as well. Just make sure you do that before March 3rd. As for the live coaching calls on weekends or weekdays, that depends. Honestly, what I like to do is I send out like a survey to all my students and I ask them, hey, what would be the best time? And, the democratic process, I say, hey, whatever choice gets the most votes, that's what we'll do. So that's kind of the process that I follow when deciding the days and times of my coaching calls. Please take my name down. Okay. I got tons of names. All right. Okay, got it. Okay, anybody else have any questions or concerns? Yeah, of course, of course. I wasn't. Someone's making a comment about my comment about asking your wife and stuff. That's completely like, I don't take that as a joke at all. That's very serious stuff. So I just tend to laugh because I don't know, I laugh. Can I get the recording of this? Potentially. I'll see if I can send it out. Yeah, I know you were kidding. I was kidding too. Okay, we're about to log off. Any final comments, concerns, questions before I log off? What did you guys think of the presentation? Was it beneficial? Even if you're not signing up just by itself, did it provide any value to you guys? Did it help any answer any maybe questions or doubts that you may have had? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you can, someone said that they signed up yesterday, but they had some sort of issue. If you can email me, that would be great. I'll be happy to resolve that issue for you. Very detailed, even though it was brief. Thank you so much. Can you see my questions? Yes, I can see your questions. I could not commend. I'm not sure what that means. No, no, not at all. Someone was apologizing, but nothing to apologize for. I pray that you succeed as well. And like I said, I will try my best to make sure that that happens for you. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for listening, for watching, for attending. It was a good above 2 hours long, but again, I hope you guys enjoyed it and benefited from it. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend. Especially, again, I'm really sorry about this for those of you who are later in the time zones. Like it's like nighttime. It's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in your locality. I really apologize, and especially to you, I really thank you, and I express my appreciation and gratitude for staying on for this long. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. It's Monday today, so there's a long week ahead of you. Take massive action. Whatever you're working on, whatever business or whatever work you have, continue to take massive action and achieve your desired results and success and succeed and excel in whatever you're doing. And I look forward to seeing those of you who have signed up or who will sign up with this crazy special bonus. Again, if you haven't done it now, you have this last chance in the next 1 or 2 minutes. bit.ly/EEA live bonus. Have a great week, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.